It's Monday, October 27th. Today, a new face at City Hall, the longtime community advocate who will serve as city councillor for Elmwood-East Kildonan. Trade war tactics, how the Prime Minister and Canada's business community are responding to Trump increased tariff announcement. And later, tying doctor salaries to performance, the move Quebec's opposition says will push medical professionals out of province. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next 3 hours for you, including Royal MTC's brand new production of Life of Pi. I love the book.
Great book.
Love the movie. And now we get to see it on stage. So we're going to get a sneak peek of the production itself and find out a little bit more on who the performers are. But today, things are going to change in the weather.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to be interested to see who the cast is because I auditioned to play the tiger. Still waiting. Just kidding.
I don't know if you got it.
We'll see. Yeah, maybe this is the news I'll hear from Ainsley this morning that I got the part. Just kidding, Rochelle. Sorry, I had to start off with a little bit of humor because otherwise we got a fair bit of rain out there raining on our parade. Although I tend to love a rainy day. I don't know about you. Outside it is 12 degrees, as mentioned, soggy. The other kind of key takeaway is very strong winds currently out of the south at 29, gusting to 39 kilometers per hour. It's pretty gusty weekend too. Barometric pressure is rising and the humidity sits at 88%. So a surface low over the Dakota is our culprit for this rainfall. That's, you can see, pushing over the international border there. Could spread moderate to heavy rain, bringing about 20 to 30 millimeters of accumulation between today and Tuesday in the Red River Valley, and even higher from 30 to 50 millimeters in southwestern Manitoba. You also see a smattering there of thunderstorm activity, not super organized, so if it happens, it'll be very one-off, likely not super severe. Meanwhile, to the north, to the very northerly corner, you see some mixed precipitation there as we start the day, but that pushes off further north throughout the day, while we here see this system kind of really spread out into our neck of the woods here in Winnipeg, the Red River Valley, Interlake, surrounding regions. That's likely to continue off and on overnight. Temperatures, what's interesting, we're starting off to this morning in the low teens. It's going to be falling throughout the day, so it's likely going to be one of the warmest temperatures right now that we're going to be seeing through much of the day. Overnight, that rainfall continues, the north staying cloudy, although it does extend to that very northeast corner. And then into Tuesday, likely a little bit more rainfall, tapering off into the afternoon. Our highs today, let me give you a quick look at our 12 degrees, or our 7-day, because I got so caught up there. 12 degrees is our high, and again, that sunshine return on Wednesday.
Thank you, Catherine. We now know who will serve as the new city councillor for Elmwood-East Kildonan. Emma Durand-Wood was elected during Saturday's by-election, securing just over 31% of the vote in a race that saw 7 candidates on the ballot. The by-election was prompted after the death of Councillor Jason Schreier in April, who was first elected in the ward in 2014. Durand-Wood described her win to CTV as surreal and said she's grateful for her election team.
I really wanted to be a strong voice for the community. I think throughout this campaign I've seen that people really want positivity, they want forward-looking solutions, they don't want to get sort of mired in the negative, and they want a councillor that works with them in community.
The longtime community advocate and freelance editor said the job won't be easy and that there's big shoes to fill. Just over 15% of eligible voters cast their ballot in the by-election. We're hearing from the Prime Minister for the first time since President Donald Trump dropped a bombshell announcement en route to a summit in Malaysia, increasing existing tariffs on Canada by 10%. CTV's Judy Trin is with Mark Carney and has more on his response and what Canada's Business Council is saying about the tactics at play in this trade war.
Prime Minister, do you have plans to get talks back on track?
Looking forward to these discussions.
Initially, the Prime Minister dodged questions about Donald Trump's latest attack on Canada's trade negotiations.
Well, Canada lied. I mean, what they did was terrible. They made up a fake statement by President Reagan.
While still on Air Force One, Trump posted on social media he was increasing tariffs on Canada 10% over and above what they are. He was angry about the anti-tariff ad with former President Ronald Reagan.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
angry that it was broadcast during the World Series instead of being pulled immediately. But the Business Council of Canada is concerned about the lack of teamwork.
In a trade war like this, we've got to put Team Canada forward, and to have every sector, every province, every premier kind of weighing in on this, I don't see that behavior in the United States.
On the ground, Carney stuck to his schedule. He had face-to-face meetings with the leaders of Laos, the Philippines, and Vietnam, and he pitched how Canada would double non-U.S. exports in the next decade.
That's more than $300 billion in new trade, much of which we hope will be with this group.
At the last event of the day, in front of corporate leaders, Carney took a jab at the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, it's enormous food. I'm just warming up for my American level of boasting.
Then finally, 12 hours after Trump dropped his tariff bombshell, Carney faced the media, armed with a familiar refrain.
The Government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we had been making in our negotiations, our discussions with our American counterparts. It is the sole responsibility of the Government of Canada to have those discussions.
Donald Trump did show up at ASEAN to oversee the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia. He did not cross paths with Carney, who had left the venue for another event. Judy Trin, CTV News, Kuala Lumpur.
Canadians will soon have to be photographed when entering and exiting the U.S., according to new rules from the Department of Homeland Security. The new condition will apply to travelers no matter how they cross, whether it's by land, air, or through a port. It's part of a move to collect biometric data introduced several years ago. No word yet on when this would be rolled out. Cheering crowds greeted 4 Israeli hostages Sunday after they returned home from the hospital. The former hostages were greeted by large crowds waving Israeli flags in their hometowns. The men were among 20 hostages released earlier this month after spending more than 2 years in captivity in Gaza. Hamas says it's widened the search for the bodies of hostages in the Gaza Strip. An Egyptian team with equipment, including an excavator and bulldozers, is aiding in the effort. Hamas has returned the remains of 15 hostages so far. Israel says Hamas hasn't lived up to its commitment.
We have 13 deceased hostages in the Gaza Strip still, which were supposed to be released nearly 2 weeks ago. Hamas committed to a plan that would release all 48 of our hostages at one time. And here we are, 2 weeks later, demanding for the release of our remaining hostages still there.
Hamas says it has begun searching new areas today for the remaining 13, but it blames the massive destruction of buildings by the Israeli military for making that a challenge. U.S. President Donald Trump now says he has no plans for another face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This comes as Moscow keeps up its deadly attacks on Ukraine. In Kyiv over the weekend, Russian drone strikes killed 3 people and injured more than 30. Russia has been intensifying attacks across Ukraine as that country calls for more sanctions to force Moscow to halt its invasion. 2 suspects have now been arrested in connection with the brazen daylight jewelry heist at the Louvre. 2 men in their 30s are in custody. One suspect was arrested in a Paris suburb. The other was nabbed as he was about to board a flight to Algeria. Gloves, a jacket, and DNA samples were reportedly found at the scene of the crime, leading to the arrests. Thieves broke into the Louvre last week using a crane and stole 8 pieces of French royal jewels worth an estimated $102 million. More housing is coming to Osborne Village thanks to an Indigenous-led development project. A groundbreaking ceremony was held at the future site of the Elmwood on River Avenue on Friday. The 7-story riverfront property is set to include 147 mixed-income units, 60 of which would be classified as deeply affordable. It also features a fitness facility, heated parkade, and energy efficiency building standards. It's owned by Broken Head Ojibwe Nation, and Chief Gordon Bluesky says the location bears historical significance.
You know, I was just down here earlier seeing the shoreline stabilization that was completed, and I was just reminiscing about that and thinking about how our people used to gather here for thousands and thousands of years. So it's just symbolic that we have our first build being here where we belong.
Chief Bluesky says the project should wrap up within 18 months to 2 years. Countless fictional characters came to life over the weekend at Comic-Con, which wrapped up Sunday. The annual event at the RBC Convention Centre brought pop culture fans together from across the province, celebrating a wide range of entertainment genres from anime to science fiction. This year, Comic-Con featured over 450 exhibitor booths offering collector items such as comics and graphic novels to fans. The event also allowed for photo ops, celebrity autographs, and cosplay meetups. Some fans were even decked out from head to toe in costume.
Honestly, I think the characters look really cool.
It's the combination of the aesthetics of the characters matching like what I like in character, like what I like visuals I like, and just being able to become the character and immerse yourself in like the role play of it, right?
The three-day event wrapped up with a musical performance from members of the Winnipeg Video Game Orchestra, which plays music from popular video games. And here's a look at what's happening now on the Norwood Bridge. It looks like things are moving well here and the rain might have started. If you see any problems out on the streets, please text them to us at 10400. Out now to the rooftop where our Catherine Dow is this morning. Yeah, you need the umbrella.
It certainly has started out here. Yes, Rochelle, I came into work this morning. I won't say what time because it might frighten you. It was not raining. It's really picked up. Currently it's 11 degrees and whipping around these raindrops is very strong southerly winds at 36, gusting at times to 45 kilometers per hour. Pressure's rising. Humidity sits at 89%. So this band of showers is expected to spread moderate to heavy rainfall all throughout southern Manitoba today. There actually is a special weather statement in effect for areas in and around Portage, Gimli. That's because as this band moves up through southwestern Manitoba, it's coming from the Dakotas, it'll start to spread eastward. And as it does, it kind of stalls out over areas as mentioned, like Portage La Prairie, Gimli. So it looks like the widest spread accumulation of showers and the most amount of rain is likely to fall in the southern Red River Valley Western Interlake. There we go. So that's looking like 20 to 30 millimeters worth. Temperatures through the south will peak in the low teens. To the north, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures at the mid-single digit mark. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. Stay dry. Lots more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. It is 6:15. Canada's auto sector is facing what some experts say is an existential threat thanks to Donald Trump's trade war. The number of cars produced in Canada has already dropped by more than 50% in the last 2 decades. CTV's Colton Prale breaks that down for us.
We don't want your cars, in all due respect. They're losing a lot of companies in Canada. He wants to make cars, we want to make cars, and we're in competition.
Donald Trump has been very clear. Vehicle manufacturing in Canada needs to come second to American production. Now, this Canadian business leader says Canada needs to consider cutting its losses.
There are a lot of jobs at stake in the auto industry. They're not coming after our parts sector, they're coming after our cars.
Canada's auto sector took a pair of heavy hits in October. Tuesday, General Motors announced it's ending production of its electric parcel van at the plant in Ingersoll, Ontario. The move came days after Stellantis announced planned production of the Jeep Compass in Brampton would happen in Illinois instead.
Making the vehicles is, pound for pound, about twice as valuable as making most parts.
Experts call Trump's policies an existential threat to the industry, but warn they'll take time to come into full effect.
Putting up a new automotive assembly plant can cost anywhere from $5 to $6 billion and take anywhere from 7 to 8 years.
Meanwhile, American auto giants announced massive windfalls this week after new White House subsidies for U.S.-produced vehicles.
The changes in policy, the proclamation that happened last Friday, gave us $1 billion of benefit.
Detroit's big three automakers make up 20% of the roughly 700,000 light vehicles made in Canada in the first half of 2025. This week, Ottawa punished GM and Stellantis for decreased Canadian production by lowering the number of vehicles they can import into the country tariff-free. This former auto exec says those measures should instead focus on boosting Canadian production from non-American automakers.
I think as we move forward and look at, what's the industry of the future, you want to put as many incentives in place that don't cost taxpayers money.
Meanwhile, Ford says it still plans to build new Super Duty pickups at its Oakville plant in 2026, even after Donald Trump announced new tariffs on trucks.
The province is expanding an outreach space at the Millennium Library.
The Downtown Resource Corner is just another tool that will help make our downtown safer by connecting people with supports before situations escalate.
Officials say the former Community Connections space will now be known as the Downtown Resource Center and will offer more services than before. That includes mental health workers, a public health nurse, employment and income assistance staff, and members of the Downtown Community Safety Partnership.
The Downtown Resource Corner will also host a rotation of community partners to help Manitobans access IDs, housing, rent assist, and other programs like Healthy Baby and 55 Plus, along with a free phone and photocopier to help complete applications.
The Resource Center is open roughly 20 hours a week with extended hours once a week. One of the most decorated Indigenous war veterans in Canadian history was celebrated in Manitoba on Saturday afternoon. A ceremony was held in Petersfield to honor the legacy of Sergeant Tommy Prince, an Indigenous war hero who served in the Second World War and the Korean War. Prince was born in the community north of Winnipeg and would later move to Broken Head Ojibwe Nation when he was a child. For his exemplary military service, he was awarded 11 medals. After returning from combat, he served as a strong advocate for Indigenous rights despite discrimination.
His story reminds us that courage isn't only found on the battlefield, it's also found in how we carry ourselves in the face of injustice, how we stand for what's right, and how we lift others up.
The ceremony was attended by nearly a dozen of Prince's family members, veterans, community members, and representatives from all three levels of government. They say if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. That certainly seems to be the case for a made-in-Manitoba invention. The Razor's Edge Concave, designed in Winkler, is an agricultural device designed to make combining more efficient for farmers. In the past, all concaves were designed the same, but the size of the opening was different depending on the type of crop being harvested. That forced farmers to switch the concave every time they changed crops, which takes time. The Manitoba invention controls how the material flows through, removing the need to change between crops. It's attracting some international attention, landing on Time magazine's top inventions list.
I mean, it's still surreal to think of, we're talking Time magazine. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. And to be recognized as one of their top 300 inventions alongside some like earth-shattering inventions is like super cool.
The Razor's Edge Concave also won the Farmer's Choice Award and the Innovation Award at Canada's Ag in Motion Farm Show held in Saskatchewan this past summer. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane is closed on Pegos Street between El Tassi Drive and Almy Avenue. One lane is open in either direction on St. Anne's Road from Man to St. Mary's. And starting at 9, the eastbound median lane and westbound curb and left turning storage lane will be closed on Nairn between Foster and Chester. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Casting our eye to the very rainy sky, it's 11 degrees with some rainfall on this Monday to kick off the week. Winds are strong, making those raindrops whip around in the skies out of the south at 36, gusting at times to 45 kilometers per hour. It's also shaking our camera. Barometric pressures on the rise, humidity at 89%. So a surface low that developed over the Dakotas has brought rainfall to much of southern Manitoba this morning, to the point that it is triggered a special weather statement for the area there, lit up in fuchsia. That includes Portage La Prairie, Winkler, Gimli. We're not included. We're still going to have a rainy day, but the reason that this weather statement is in effect is because as this system pushes over into the east, it will stall out over this region. Because it's moving so slowly, it could bring some very widespread and heavy accumulations, particularly to the western Red River Valley southern interlake. Accumulations have been slightly all over the place. They could be anywhere from 30 to 50 millimeters, while we between now and Tuesday, I should say, while we here in Winnipeg could get more in the 20-millimeter range. We're starting off on a very warm mark. Let me get out of the picture here. All in the low teens. Temperatures will be dropping throughout the day. To the north, temperatures a little bit cooler, but still downright balmy for this time of year. Look at that, 12 degrees in Island Lake at 6 a.m. And certainly you want to pack the kids with all the rain gear as they head out on the bus. Temperatures will be dropping a little bit throughout the morning to 3 degrees as they head to class, 10 as they get home. That rainfall consisting throughout the day. High today is 12 degrees. 6 is what's seasonal. Overnight rainfall continues at 6 degrees, and that wind eases slightly. Into tomorrow, we're likely to lose the rain in the morning with a high of 9. Your Skywatch picture of the day taken by Ron is felt in Gimli. I'm guessing it looks a lot rainier today, but a lovely sunset. Thanks for snapping that, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. So much more Your Morning still to come.
Haunted, spooky, or just plain fun. Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, especially those decorated yards and homes. And that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and submit some pictures. Good luck. Quebec's legislature passed a controversial bill early Saturday morning, which ties part of doctors' salaries to performance. It sparked outrage in the province's medical community, with Quebec's opposition saying the move will inspire healthcare workers to leave for other provinces. CTV's Jack Richardson reports.
Des Québécois et Québécoises.
Just before 4 a.m. Saturday, the National Assembly passed Bill 2 with a vote of 63 in favor to 27 against. With this legislation, doctors who challenge the government's policies could face fines of up to $500,000 per day.
They are showing teeth here with the doctors, but it's also because Legault and Dubé, Health Minister Christian Dubé, need to deliver results.
According to the government, Bill 2 aims to end the pressure tactics from doctors and make access to medical care a, quote, collective responsibility. But it appears that all it's done is light a fuse.
This bill blames access to care on physicians, and physicians are not the problem. The system is the problem.
Both the FMSQ and the FMOQ, the two federations representing Quebec physicians, plan to take the government to court over Bill 2.
They feel it's disappointing that their voice has not been heard in this discussion. They have kept the lines of communication open with the government, and now this law has been passed.
Political experts suggest the government is feeling pressure with the provincial election now just 1 year away.
As we know, according to the latest polls, dissatisfaction towards this government is at its highest at the moment, and only 16% of Quebecers would want to see François Legault remain as premier past the next election. So they need to tackle things and they need to deliver results.
Meanwhile, in Trois-Rivières, the Liberal Party of Quebec held its first party convention since electing its new leader. Pablo Rodriguez fears this new bill will make the province lose doctors.
You know who's the happiest person on earth today? Doug Ford. Because the Jays won, but also because he's going to come here and try to attract our doctors.
But Rodriguez has a message for physicians.
Don't leave, please don't leave. Wait for a year, we're going to be there, we're going to sit down with you and negotiate.
But in the meantime, a solution doesn't appear to be in sight.
We need to decrease barriers so that physicians can practice. This is putting up a barrier, and this is disengaging the profession.
Quebec doctors have been looking for a new contract since 2023. Jack Richardson, CTV News.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Grab all the rain gear today. It's going to be a soggy day and a bit, day and a half we'll say here in southern Manitoba. 11 degrees out there. It is nice and warm though, with those winds very strong out of the south at 36, gusting at times to 45 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sits at 89%. Yes, after a week of fairly benign weather, we have a lot to tell you about today. Certainly a low that is developed, a surface low that developed over the Dakota, you can see is pushing into southern Manitoba, likely to spread widespread accumulations of rainfall throughout Manitoba today, to the point that there is a special weather statement in effect for this little sliver of the province. Portage-la Prairie included in there, Gimli-Winkler, there we go, Winnipeg not included. So the reason this is in effect for this region is because as that system moves east, it really stalls over this neck of the woods throughout the day. So that means more rainfall could be coming your way. Accumulations are a bit all over the place, but they could be 30 to 50 millimeters worth in the West Red River Valley and the South Interlake. For us here, could be considerably less, but it's still going to be a rainy day. Even though our high is 12 degrees, we're already around that, and the temperatures are going to be falling throughout the day. And winds will be very strong out of the south at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. Rain continues overnight with temperatures dipping to 6. We're likely to have the rainfall for the morning with temperatures at 9 degrees and then cloudy into the afternoon. In terms of the rest of the week, it's still not much better. Wednesday's a little bit of sunshine at 9 degrees, but then that rain falls back out. So grab the slicker for Halloween.
Thank you, Catherine. We now know who will serve as the new city councillor for Elmwood-East Kildonan. Emma Durand-Wood was elected during Saturday's by-election, securing just over 31% of the vote in a race that saw 7 candidates on the ballot. The by-election was prompted after the death of Councillor Jason Schreier in April, who was first elected in the ward in 2014. Durand-Wood described her win to CTV as surreal and said she's grateful for her election team.
I really want to just be a strong voice for the community. I think that throughout this campaign, I've seen that people really want positivity. They want forward-looking solutions. They don't want to get sort of mired in the negative, and they want a councillor that works with them in community.
The longtime community advocate and freelance editor said the job won't be easy and that there's big shoes to fill. Just over 15% of eligible voters cast their ballot in the by-election. Trump has insisted that the television ad is a misrepresentation of the facts and that Ronald Reagan loved tariffs. However, as CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports, those close to the former president say that was definitely not the case.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing.
This is what got us here. A $75 million ad campaign by the Ontario government airing on American television.
And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time.
It targets Trump's tariffs and their negative impacts on Americans, using a 1987 speech from President Ronald Reagan.
That over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
But it didn't sit well with President Donald Trump. He called the ad fake, ending trade talks with Canada as a result.
They did a crooked ad. They knew it was Ronald Reagan loved tariffs.
But that's not true, according to this former economic advisor to Reagan.
President Trump hasn't studied the situation and doesn't really know what he's talking about.
While the ad clearly upset the president, Steve Hanke says it's not fake, fraudulent, or crooked. It's just not what the president wanted to hear.
It really shows a characteristic of Trump. The guy's thin-skinned. Reagan was cool.
Reagan was always an advocate of free and fair trade, and this former chief NAFTA negotiator for Canada says it's Reagan's work that helped lead to that first trade deal.
It was a logical continuation of his policy approach to trade, continuing to put the NAFTA in place.
The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute says the ad misrepresents Reagan's speech, and it's considering legal options.
In America, you can always sue, and the question is, can you win? And the answer here is pretty clearly no.
Ontario launched the ad in question on October 14th. It's now run multiple times during Major League Baseball playoffs, including this weekend's World Series game. Trump says he's increasing tariffs because it wasn't pulled immediately. Ontario says it'll stop running Monday.
Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Hurricane Melissa rapidly strengthened to a Category 4 storm barreling through the Caribbean.
It now seems
virtually certain that the core of a powerful hurricane is going to move over Jamaica on a Tuesday.
Satellite images show the eye of Melissa near Cuba with winds reaching 220 kilometers per hour. Jamaica is bracing for impact with fears the storm could strengthen by the time it hits. BC striking public service workers have reached a tentative deal with the province after nearly 8 weeks on the picket lines. Strikes across BC shuttered provincial liquor and cannabis stores and impacted operations at multiple government ministries as tens of thousands of workers walked off the job. The proposed deal includes a general wage increase of 3% per year for 4 years. Los Angeles may have Santa Monica, but the Toronto Blue Jays have Santa Claus. He's rooting for them from Winnipeg's River Park South neighborhood. This 14-foot inflatable Santa is decked out in his custom-made Blue Jays jersey, and he's ready for the World Series. His helper elf here in Winnipeg brought Santa to life during the COVID-19 pandemic, and jolly old St. Nick's turned into quite the sports fan over the last few years.
It started with a Bomber jersey back in, I think, 2020 or 2021 when they're in the Grey Cup. So he wears his Bomber jersey regularly. For the Jets playoff runs the last couple of years, he's got a Jets jersey going. Now he's got a Blue Jays for the playoffs now, and my wife is hounding me to start making them for the kids' sports teams.
Jay Porath makes each jersey using a king-size sheet and a cutting machine to make the letters and logos. You could say hi to this giant Santa at the corner of Ward and Paddington. Meanwhile, the Jays are in LA for Game 3 tonight. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic at Kenaston and Sterling Line. The streets are full of water. As you can see, it's raining right now. So be mindful of that as you head out this morning. If you see any problems out on the streets, though, please let us know. Text them to us, please, at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.32. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29. And the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.21. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, this is the set of Royal MTC's Life of Pi. Stay with us for details on the show.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Certainly a soggy start to your Monday and a very gusty one at that. 11 degrees currently in Winnipeg. Those winds, as mentioned, strong out of the south at 36, gusting to 45 kilometers per hour. Barometric pressure rising, humidity at 89%. So yes, expect for a rainy day throughout southern Manitoba. That's because a surface low that developed over the Dakotas has moved into our neck of the woods, pushing in through southwestern Manitoba, and it's moving to the northeast. It has also triggered a special weather statement because the system's likely to stall out over Portage-La Prairie, Gimli, Headingley. So accumulations could be 30 to 50 millimeters in the West Red River Valley and the southern Interlake, while we in Winnipeg could get more 20 to 30 millimeters between now and Tuesday. Already in my rain gauge, I'm seeing about 3 millimeters worth, anecdotally. Southerly winds will be strong, temperatures high, peaking in the low teens. To the north, mostly cloudy skies, a couple more pockets of sunshine to the northwest. Temperatures there in the mid-single digits. Okay, we're checking in with CTV's Ainsley McPhail, who's learning all about Royal Manitoba Theatre Company's production of Life of Pi. Oh, Ainsley, a puppet.
Good morning, Catherine. Well, we didn't get there. We hopped over to the CCFM, and we are going to be talking about Afterlife, presented by Rainbow Stage. And tell us a little bit about this partnership first. Sharon Bajer joins us to tell us all about it.
All right, yes. So it's actually called Afterlight.
Oh.
Yes, we just took the Afterlife.
I was thinking of vampires.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll get to that in a second, too.
That's okay. That's a common mistake, but yes, Afterlife. So this is a story about a vampire who is tired of living forever. He's about 500 years old, and he has a bit of a conscience. He doesn't want to kill people anymore, and he feels sad and lonely because most of the people he's ever loved, he's seen die or he's killed. So he's trying to burn up in the sun. He's like waiting for the sun to rise every morning. And this little old lady who wakes up in the in the middle of the night looking for her cat shows up and keeps interrupting him, and that's kind of the meet cute. And then it ends up being like a sort of odd romance between this really old lady and this young-looking vampire.
A typical How We Met story. Exactly. But it's funny. It's funny. There's music. What can people expect?
Well, I think they can expect sort of a romantic comedy for most of it, but we do take emotional turns throughout the way, because it is essentially you know, a musical that sort of examines life and death and end of life, and it is kind of scary. But not that, you know, not crazy scary, like funny scary. And the music is beautiful. Duncan Cox wrote the music, and it was arranged by Paul DeGers, and we have a 6-piece band.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. Puppets. You've got one. Show us quick.
So, yeah.
You've got many.
So these are all the puppets that, so Razvan the vampire is trying not to kill people anymore. So he's just sort of maintaining his existence by feeding on anything that he can find. So rodents and cats, and these are little birds that are in Wanda's apartment. And
say goodbye.
Yes, they're parakeets, and
bye.
The trick of it, he squeezes the blood out of these bottles.
See you later. Sorry.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones jumping overnight. The Nasdaq and S&P index are also trading higher. The loonie is up, trading around 71.5 cents U.S. The Hang Seng added 273 points, and the Nikkei index jumped more than 1,200 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. The Rose-Nort sinkhole is now a gaping chasm. In late May, a small crater formed in the RM of Morris. 5 months later, that cave-in has turned into a financial disaster. CTV's Joseph Bernacki reports.
It definitely has gotten deeper, probably a little bit wider.
Rose-Nort resident Pat Friesen has watched this sinkhole near her property slowly cave in over the summer. Since May, this section of Pleasant Valley Road has attracted a lot of attention.
There were lots of visitors, people coming all the time. It's kind of slowed down now, but people still come to see if anything has been done on it.
And it's going to be a costly fix. The RM of Morris hired engineers who have completed preliminary drawings. They needed this so that the Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans could approve any work due to fish in the nearby Morris River. Deputy Reeve Mervyn Dewick said the RM knew the fix would not come cheap.
The preliminary estimates right now stand at about $1.2 million for this project. That could come up and down once, up or down, depending on what the tenders come in at. And then we as an RM need to decide how we're going to fund this.
Dewick says footing the bill will be tough. The RM is still recovering from devastating flooding in 2022, where damage estimates went up to $30 million.
Just to give us a little bit of perspective, just the culverts for this project are $200,000. We're scrambling from a finance perspective to try and keep it all above water.
The RM was able to apply for a Manitoba GRO grant. It's an application-based program to help provincial municipalities fund critical infrastructure needs. Dewick says they are still waiting to hear back if funding to fix the sinkhole will be approved.
That is going to be the only saving grace to it if we can get that. If not, like I say, we'll have to probably delay it a year so we can budget for it.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Rose-Nort.
We're now just a week away from a hallmark of the fall season, the turning back of the clocks. Next Sunday, Manitoba and most other jurisdictions switch from daylight saving to standard time at 2 a.m., meaning an extra hour of sleep for many. Politicians at different levels of government have proposed opting out of the practice of changing the clocks in spring and fall, but it remains in effect. Officials say it's good to keep road safety in mind, with it getting darker earlier during the evenings, especially after the clocks fall back. Winnipeggers got the chance to experience Ukrainian cuisine over the weekend at an annual food and craft sale. On Saturday, dozens of vendors piled into the Holy Eucharist Parish Center as part of a fall craft and Ukrainian food sale. The full-day event was put on by the Ukrainian Catholic Church's Women's League with new and returning vendors.
You got your hot dogs, you got your pierogies, we've got our little Ukrainian snack pack. You know, you go to a social, it's Manitoba thing. We got a snack pack happening. We've got people from the community helping us out.
The annual sale has been going on for about 2 decades and has been such a hit that an organizer said another sale will likely happen in the spring. The Winnipeg Jets hosted the Utah Mammoth for the first time this season for a Sunday game at Canada Life Centre. Neither team scored in the first period. Then early in the second, Dylan DeMello gets the Jets on the board to make it 1-0. Kyle Connor assisting on that one. Utah ties it with just under 10 left in the second. Then Michael Carconi gets another to make it a 2-1 for the Mammoth. With just under 5 left in the second, Mark Scheifele ties it up with his 8th goal of the season, but that was it for Jets scoring. The Mammoth scored in the third with just under 5 minutes remaining. The final score, Utah 3, Jets 2. The Jets are back on the ice Tuesday night, making a trip to St. Paul to take on the Wild. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane is closed on Pegwa Street between El Tassi Drive and Almy Avenue. One lane is open in either direction on St. Anne's Road from Man to St. Mary's. And starting at 9, the eastbound median lane and westbound curb and left turning storage lane will be closed on Nairn between Foster and Chester. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, text them please at 10400.
Grab the umbrella, grab the slicker, keep them handy today. It is 11 degrees out there with some rainfall that's expected to stick around for a while. The winds strong out of the south at 36, gusting at times to 45 kilometers per hour. The barometric pressure is rising and the humidity sits at 89%. So the culprit of all this rainfall, this surface low that brewed in the Dakotas, it has pushed over the international border. They're beginning to spread out over southern Manitoba. The rainfall for us started about an hour ago. And it could, as the system moves, stall out over areas around Portage la Prairie, Gimli, and that means that the strongest, or the highest accumulations rather, are expected in that region, about 30 to 50 millimeters worth, while we could be closer to 20 to 30 millimeters. The north likely to stay dry today with the exception of a couple outlying communities like Island Lake. Mostly cloudy skies in Thompson, overcast skies in Gillam and Churchill. Temperatures there, low teens, very warm for this time of year. To the northwest, lots more sunshine on the way, more of a mix of sun and cloud in the Paw, 12 degrees there, and in Norway House with cloudier skies, 10 in Flin Flon, 11 Inland Lake. Southwestern Manitoba, no surprise, a rainy day for you ahead. Temperatures peaking in the low teens with some more sunshine for Swan River than the rest of the region. For us here, much the same. The winds, too, are the other very large takeaway for today. They're going to be strong out of the south, gusting at times from 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Northwestern Manitoba, potentially a bit rainy in Red Lake. The rest of you a little bit cloudy. Temperatures there in the mid-teens. Rain continues overnight, as do those strong winds, 6 degrees. Into tomorrow, we start off with that rainfall at 9 degrees, tapering off into the afternoon. We get a little sliver of rain there on Wednesday, or of sun there on Wednesday, but then it's back in time, and make sure you grab the umbrella when you head out trick-or-treating on Friday.
Thanks, Catherine. Let's check in now on the team at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Hi, guys. Happy Monday.
Huh. Happy Monday to you as well.
Thank you.
First off, here's what we need. Positive vibes going into this Saturday, right? Because the Bombers are back in Montreal for the East semifinal, right?
Yes.
So positive vibes for the Bombers. And then tonight we have Game 3 of the World Series with the Toronto Blue Jays in LA. Big shout out to our friends at Royal Sports, 750 Pembina Highway. So they have everything you need for Blue Jays and the World Series, okay?
Love it.
Now, Catherine was just doing the weather. Think about this, everyone. So, Rochelle, Lloyd, Chrissy, let's put ourselves in grade 5 for a second, okay? This time of year, we're all back at grade 5. This rain would have been snow.
Yeah, for sure.
This rain would have been snow. Think about that, everybody. And so we're getting up to Halloween. We know that Halloween is on a Friday, so people are going to throw down and have a really good time. And so we thought we would do our Halloween Hall of Fame costumes. So one of the things that we do for our careers and our jobs is we dress up for Halloween. I know it's very odd. And so over the years, we've put a lot of work into our costumes. Like one year we were Amelia Earhart and Gru from the Minions, and Lloyd dressed up as Ace Burpee. I know these aren't in order, but you'll see them coming.
One year, Ace Burpee was the Nutty Club guy. I'm not sure if that guy has a name. I was Joey Jeremiah from Degrassi Junior High, and then Chrissy was an electric skeleton, and the makeup was amazing.
Yeah. Okay, and one year from the Hunger Games, I dressed up as Effie Trinket.
Yeah,
I go as a hot dog. Every second year almost.
Dress up as what you like. And speaking of that, I dressed up as 16-year-old Chrissy Troy, and I was a chicken chef waitress.
Ooh.
I was Negan from The Walking Dead one year, one of my favorite characters from that series.
And you just saw Ace here as Steve from Blue's Clues. And then one of the best ones that Ace ever did was...
Yeah, the Cheryl Lashik elevator permit.
So fun.
Amazing.
Great, you guys. Love all of them. I don't know which one's my favorite. I'll have to think about it. Thank you. Well, snowbirds or anyone else flying to the U.S. and even across Canada should expect delays in the coming days. CTV's Heather Wright explains why.
As the U.S. government shutdown enters its fourth week, travelers here in Canada are bracing for impact.
It's stressful. Everything's stressful.
Roughly 13,000 air traffic controllers and about 50,000 Transportation Security Administration officers are working without pay during the government shutdown. Staffing shortages are 4 times higher than usual, and delays are expected to get even worse this week, with more controllers choosing to stay home rather than work for free. That not only means delays for Canadians traveling to the States, but also for domestic flights. Because the North American airspace is so integrated, planes often cross the border during flights.
If they have a shortage in the northern perimeters, that would in fact impact on the routing, the timing, and the departure time of some of our Canadian operations.
Both the United States and Canada have been dealing with a shortage of air traffic controllers. Winnipeg and Kelowna airports have had to briefly close this year due to staffing, typically when the one controller on duty goes on a break. In a statement, Nav Canada, which manages the country's air navigation system, said the closures were precautionary measures taken under our fatigue risk management system to ensure safe operations and protect the well-being of our employees, while noting the closures are generally limited and brief, and that the Winnipeg closure lasted no longer than 30 minutes. But with the busy holiday season approaching, travel could get even bumpier.
We fear there will be significant flight delays, disruptions, and cancellations in major airports across the country this holiday season.
It was air travel that helped end the 35-day government shutdown back in 2019 when 10 air traffic controllers stayed home, snarling air travel and leading to a public outcry. Delays are expected to get worse this week, though it's not clear if it will be enough to get the U.S. government reopened. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
We're taking a break here. We'll be back after this with more Your Morning Winnipeg. Stay with us. It's Monday, October 27th. Today, more housing for Osborne. An Indigenous-led project breaks ground on the Elmwood, bringing nearly 150 new mixed-income units to River Avenue. Plus, jewel heist arrests, 2 suspects caught after a $102 million royal robbery at the Louvre. And library revamped. Millennium Library's new downtown resource center opens its doors with more help under one roof. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, the Blue Jays didn't have the outcome we wanted at Saturday's game. They are now going to LA for Game 3, and one of our former anchors here, Rahim Ladhani, is going to join us at 7:45 to give us an update on the game from LA. He's going to tell us what we can expect and what the Jays need to do to.
He's up early for
win.
LA time, huh? My goodness.
Indeed. But the weather today, just rain. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And windy, too.
You know what? That's it. I don't need to do a forecast because you got it covered. Yes, it will be rainy. Rochelle is absolutely right. We've been dealing with a surface low. I wish I was as succinct as her. It's like enough yapping. Yes, we've been dealing with a surface low that's been spreading rainfall this morning and is likely to keep doing that for at least a day to come. It's 11 degrees. Strong southerly winds as evidenced by our shaky camera there at 36, gusting at times to 45 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising. Humidity sits at 89%. So yes, this is the system there. You can see a little bit of instability wrapped in there. It's pushed over the international border. It brewed in the Dakotas. Look for a rainy day, not only today, but into the start of tomorrow. Widespread accumulations could be coming all throughout southern Manitoba, with the largest likely in the West Red River Valley and southern Interlake as the system kind of stalls out over that region. You can see it better on the future cast. So there it is, kind of in southern Manitoba. Some very northerly parts of our province do have a bit of mixed precipitation, but that pushes further to the north, as does this system spreading out there. And yes, really swirling around that section of Manitoba today and into tonight as well. We too in Winnipeg will see the rain off and on into tomorrow morning. And then once that tapers off, we'll deal with cloudy skies. The north, meanwhile, will deal with more in the way of sunshine. Temperatures abound above seasonal for the next day. For us here in Winnipeg, that's looking like a high of 12. However, we're already nearing that this early in the morning. It's going to drop throughout the day. Overnight, temperatures dip to 6, and then tomorrow, as that rain tapers off in the late morning, we'll get a high of 9. Your weather art of the day drawn by Presley, 9 years old. This is a winter theme. Presley is looking ahead, and she does a beautiful job of it. Thanks so much for sending that in. And we would love to see your kids' weather-themed artwork. So snap a photo, send it our way to winnipegweather@ctv.ca, and every day we're going to be featuring one of them on Your Morning Winnipeg.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
More housing is coming to Osborne Village thanks to an Indigenous-led development project. A groundbreaking ceremony was held at the future site of the Ellswood on River Avenue on Friday. The 7-story riverfront property is set to include 147 mixed-income units, 60 of which would be classified as deeply affordable. It also features a fitness facility, heated parkade, and energy efficiency building standards. It's owned by Broken Head Ojibwe Nation, and Chief Gordon Blue Sky says the location bears historical significance.
You know, I was just down here earlier seeing the shoreline stabilization that was completed, and I was just reminiscing about that and thinking about how our people used to gather here for thousands and thousands of years. So it's just symbolic that we have our first build being here where we belong.
Chief Blue Sky says the project should wrap up within 18 months to 2 years. We're hearing from the Prime Minister for the first time since President Donald Trump dropped a bombshell announcement en route to a summit in Malaysia, increasing existing tariffs on Canada by 10%. CTV's Judy Trin is with Mark Carney and has more on his response and what Canada's Business Council is saying about the tactics at play in this trade war.
Do you have plans to get talks back on track?
Looking forward to these discussions.
Initially, the Prime Minister dodged questions about Donald Trump's latest attack on Canada's trade negotiations.
Well, Canada lied. I mean, what they did was terrible. They made up a fake statement by President Reagan.
While still on Air Force One, Trump posted on social media he was increasing tariffs on Canada 10% over and above what they are. He was angry about the anti-tariff ad with former President Ronald Reagan.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
Angry that it was broadcast during the World Series instead of being pulled immediately. But the Business Council of Canada is concerned about the lack of teamwork.
In a trade war like this, we've got to put Team Canada forward, and to have every sector, every province, every premier kind of weighing in on this, I don't see that behavior in the United States.
On the ground, Carney stuck to his schedule. He had face-to-face meetings with the leaders of Laos, the Philippines, and Vietnam, and he pitched how Canada would double non-U.S. exports in the next decade.
That's more than $300 billion in new trade, much of which we hope will be with this group.
At the last event of the day in front of corporate leaders, Carney took a jab at the U.S.
Yeah, it's enormous food. I'm just warming up for my American level of boasting.
Then finally, 12 hours after Trump dropped his tariff bombshell, Carney faced the media armed with a familiar refrain.
The government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we had been making in our negotiations, our discussions with our American counterparts. It is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have those discussions.
Donald Trump did show up at ASEAN to oversee the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia. He did not cross paths with Carney, who had left the venue for another event. Judy Trin, CTV News, Kuala Lumpur.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country will determine which foreign forces it will allow into Gaza as part of an international security force to secure the ceasefire with Hamas.
We are in control of our own security, and we have also made it clear regarding international forces that Israel will determine which forces are not acceptable to us.
Netanyahu said that the stipulation was acceptable to the United States as well, although the Trump administration wouldn't be sending troops itself. It's still not clear which states are ready to commit soldiers to go into Gaza, in part because Hamas militants have also refused to disarm as called for by the ceasefire plan. Meanwhile, cheering crowds greeted 4 Israeli hostages after they returned home from the hospital Sunday. The former hostages were greeted by large crowds waving Israeli flags in their hometowns. The men were among 20 hostages released earlier this month after spending more than 2 years in captivity in Gaza. Also Sunday, Hamas said it widened the search for the bodies of 13 Israeli hostages that have yet to be returned. 15 have been handed over so far, but the militant group says the others have been more difficult to retrieve. An Egyptian team with equipment, including an excavator and bulldozers, has entered Gaza to aid in the effort. 2 suspects have now been arrested in connection with the brazen daylight jewelry heist at the Louvre. 2 men in their 30s are in custody. One suspect was arrested in a Paris suburb. The other was nabbed as he was about to board a flight to Algeria. Gloves, a jacket, and DNA samples were reportedly found at the scene of the crime, leading to the arrests. Thieves broke into the Louvre last week using a crane and stole 8 pieces of French royal jewels worth an estimated $102 million. A First Nations chief from Ontario has put his ice cream flavor on the map.
I wanted to showcase it on this sort of a level to, introduce people to Indigenous culture.
Zach Kijig is a renowned chef who teamed up with Chapman's to enter an international ice cream award. Zach's signature is called Sweetgrass. Competing against top ice cream makers worldwide, Zach and Chapman's came finished in a tie for first. Chapman's is now working to make Sweetgrass ice cream available at local stores. Here's a look at what's going on now in traffic on Portage at Polo Park. Looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about in the drive. If you do see problems out there, though, please let us know.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Cenovus Energy is further sweetening the deal to take over MEG Energy. MEG says Cenovus has modified its latest takeover offer to $30 a share. A special meeting of MEG shareholders remains scheduled for October 30th. And stock futures jumped this morning after U.S. and Chinese officials cooled tensions over the weekend. There's now optimism a trade deal can be reached between the two. Japan's Nikkei reached a new record high today, surpassing 50,000. Meanwhile, interest rate cuts are likely this week in both the U.S. and Canada, while the rest of the G7 looks on. The Bank of Japan, which is inching toward a rate hike, is expected to hold off, and officials with the European Central Bank have signaled there will be no further easing at the moment. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at CCFM this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
After light, Wanda, an older woman, nearing the end of her life, she meets a vampire. What happens? You know, a typical How We Met story. They fall in love. I'm just sorry, I haven't even I haven't even introduced Buttons, my friend. I don't know what Buttons sounds like, so I'm just gonna let it shake. It'll be really pleasant. How real is this? The props, the set, putting it Manitoba theater on the map. You have to see this one, a romantic comedy that brings together music, love, and even some deeper themes too. Something that I did notice when I was perusing through all of these set pieces is I said, is that blood in there? Just in time for Halloween, of course. You don't want to know what happens to my other friend. You're going to have to come to the production to see.
Okay, well, thank you, Ainsley. We'll check in a little later. Are you spilling blood everywhere? All right, let's go to the rooftop now. It's umbrella day. You need layers because it's also going to be breezy.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be a very windy day. Obviously, the rain has always been getting top billing, but it is going to be incredibly windy, whipping around those raindrops. It's currently out of the south at 29, gusting to 42 kilometers per hour. It's very warm, 11 degrees. That's higher than what's a typical daytime high. And, of course, the rainfall. It has started, likely not going to ease for at least a day. Barometric pressure falling, humidity sits at 90%. Okay, so this surface low has been spreading rainfall throughout southern Manitoba this morning. Look for it to continue overnight and ease off by tomorrow. Accumulations are a bit all over the place. The hardest hit area is likely to be the West Red River Valley in the southern Interlake. That's because the system will kind of stall out over that neck of the woods, and it could bring about 30 to 50 millimeters of accumulation, while we here in Winnipeg more like 20 to 30. Winds will be strong today, easing up overnight. Actually, apologies, they will not ease overnight. Let's get that right. They will be strong out of the south at 30, gusting at times to 50. To the north, cloudy skies in the northeast, sunnier skies in the northwest. Above, seasonal temperatures abound in the low teens with some lighter winds than what we're seeing in the south, so a much more pleasant day ahead.
Thank you, Catherine. It's time now for a question of the day. We want to know, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we want to see even more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. The province is expanding an outreach space at the Millennium Library.
The Downtown Resource Corner is just another tool that will help make our downtown safer by connecting people with supports before situations escalate.
Officials say the former Community Connection space will now be known as the Downtown Resource Center and will offer more services than before. That includes mental health workers, a public health nurse, employment and income assistance staff, and members of the Downtown Community Safety Partnership.
The Downtown Resource Corner will also host a rotation of community partners to help Manitobans access IDs, housing, rent assist, and other programs like Healthy Baby and 55 Plus, along with a free phone and photocopier to help complete applications.
The Resource Center is open roughly 20 hours a week with extended hours once a week. Canadians will soon have to be photographed when entering and exiting the U.S. according to new rules from the Department of Homeland Security. The new condition will apply to travelers no matter how they cross, whether it's by land, air, or through a port. It's part of a move to collect biometric data introduced several years ago. No word yet on when this would be rolled out. U.S. President Donald Trump now says he has no plans for another face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This comes as Moscow keeps up its deadly attacks on Ukraine. In Kyiv over the weekend, Russian drone strikes killed 3 people and injured more than 30. Russia has been intensifying attacks across Ukraine as that country calls for more sanctions to force Moscow to halt its invasion. Also Sunday, the Kremlin said Russian President Vladimir Putin visited a command post for troops fighting in Ukraine. He also mentioned a successful test of a nuclear-powered missile by Russian forces. The head of Russia's military claimed the projectile could cover a distance of 14,000 kilometers and evade air defense systems. Many Western experts have been skeptical about Russia's claims regarding that specific missile. Here's a look now at what's going on in traffic at Main and Broadway. Things have really picked up over here, as you could see, and potentially causing some delays for some people. If you know why this is happening or if you see an issue out on the streets, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
An anime movie adaptation secured a surprise #1 at the weekend box office. Chainsaw Man, the movie, debuted with $17.3 million US in ticket sales across North America. That pushed last week's #1 Black Phone 2 to a second-place finish with another $13 million. And Regretting You, based on the 2019 novel of the same name, was just behind with $12.9 million. People from a certain era may have a difficult time sleeping in this Airbnb.
Excitement, that joy that it brings people. I mean, how can I not share this with people?
Rachel Powers is the proud owner of the house featured in Poltergeist. Not long after buying it, she worked to recreate some of the most famous scenes of the movie and started renting it out to movie fans. But not everyone is impressed. Neighbors haven't appreciated the attention the house has gotten over the years, and now the rental is bringing even more people in. However, Rachel is working to smooth things over with the others in this quiet neighborhood. Does it get any more Australian than this? Two icons from down under, the Wiggles and Vegemite, are teaming up to put a colorful twist on Vegemite's classic jingle. This recording is actually the first re-record of the jingle in 71 years. It's all to mark the company's 102nd birthday. Get ready for some toe-tapping fun as The Voice kicks off your primetime lineup at 7, then catch a double shot of Tracker starting at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Grab the umbrella, keep it handy. It's going to be a rainy day and change for us here in southern Manitoba. 11 degrees. Winds are very strong out of the south at 29, gusting at times to 42 kilometers per hour. Pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 90%. So yes, this surface low that is pushing this rainfall into our neck of the woods is also sparked this special weather statement. This area lit up in fuchsia. It's because although we're all likely to get a good amount of rainfall today in southern Manitoba, the system will really stall out over this kind of slice of the province. So accumulations there could be 30 to 50 millimeters worth, while the rest of us deal with closer to 20 to 30 millimeters from today into tomorrow morning. Meantime, we're starting off the day very warm. Temperatures are in the low teens through much of the province. A little bit cooler there, actually much cooler. I'll take that back to the very southwest corner in Roblin at 3, Melita at 8. To the north we go. Temperatures very similar in the low teens already in Gillam and Island Lake. A little bit cooler in Thompson at 7, Churchill at 9, the Paw kicking off at 5 degrees. Certainly you want to pack the kids on the bus with all the rain gear. It will be soggy as they head out with 3 degrees. Lunchtime, it'll rise slightly in terms of temperatures, but that rainfall won't ease. And then on the way home, 10 degrees, slightly cooler. Our high today is 12, but as you saw, it will be temperatures will be falling throughout the day. Our warmest temperatures likely in the morning hours. Rainfall continues overnight with temperatures dipping to 6. Those strong winds out of the south at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour will be continuing overnight as well. Tomorrow, that rainfall likely in the morning hours, easing into the afternoon, leaving behind clouds, a high of 9. Wednesday, our one shot for sunshine for a little while, and then it looks like a rainy back half of the work week. So make sure that a umbrella pairs well with your Halloween costume. Your Skywatch picture of the day, Ron Isveld snapped this lovely sunset in Gimli. Thanks so much for sending that in. And if you've got any weather photos to share, we'd love to see them. Send them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Catherine. Haunted, spooky, or just plain fun. Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, especially those decorated yards and homes. And that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and submit some pictures. Good luck. It's been 30 years since Quebec's last referendum, but now a new generation is behind the call for Quebec to become its own country. A pro-sovereignty march was held in Montreal this weekend. CTV's Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil reports.
Some Séguin and Angélie-Beaulieu weren't even born in 1995, but today they're raising their voices for Quebec's independence.
I really love my province and my country, and I want more for Quebec. Makes me feel good inside to be here right now.
Hundreds marched through the plateau Saturday afternoon, flags flying, chants echoing. Quebec is a country, a call that's been heard for decades, now picking up new momentum. It feels like a rebirth, he says, a new generation taking over a cause they never lived. This woman says that to keep the movement growing, education is key. Helping young people understand what sovereignty means, she says, and the joy of being a country. The last referendum in 1995 was close, just over 50% said no. But for many here that voted is history, and they're ready to write the next chapter. Camille Goyette-Gingras leads Oui Québec, a group uniting separatists. She says the independence movement looks different now, younger, more diverse, and focused on the future.
The Quebec independence is going to be a great opportunity, especially for immigrants. I'm going to become citizen of Quebec at the same time that immigrant is going to become citizen of Quebec. So for them, it's they have to view the project as an opportunity to create a new country together.
For Marianne Alpin, whose grandparents came to Quebec from Syria, the fight is about what Quebec can still become.
Il y a beaucoup d'urgence en ce moment.
She says there's urgency, that Quebec's language and culture are both under threat. For some, like 89-year-old Jean-Guy Plante, seeing young people take up the cause brings renewed hope.
Peut-être qu'avant de mourir, je connaîtrai un Québec pays.
30 years later, Plante says the dream still burns bright. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
We are going to take a break, but when we get back, we're going to hear about Rainbow Stage's Afterlife. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're live at CCFM this morning, all about Rainbow Stage Afterlife. Good morning. Light. Afterlife.
Good morning,
I
Rochelle.
keep getting that wrong. Sorry.
No, me too. Because it's about a vampire. Because you'd think afterlife, but then they're there forever, and then it doesn't. Honestly, the morning, don't even worry about anything you do or say right now, because this morning, with the Monday and the hiccups, and I got blood all over myself, but not like real blood, prop blood. I'm sorry, I have to do this like a middle school gym teacher. This is from Italy. So dry cleaners, anyone with tips. Enough about me, Daphne.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this set is pretty cool though. Props aside, the set is really awesome. How did you guys put it together?
Yeah, so we have the lovely production designer, Annika Binding. We have this great scaffolding that we were able to find, and it's been the backbone of our set. Yeah, so I can kind of show you a little bit around a little bit. So we kind of start the show on a bridge, which is up here. This is Razvan's bridge where he's preparing to, greet the dawn. And so we start up here. And then kind of behind me, right above us, is the balcony of Wanda's apartment, where she spies Razvan over the bridge and is like, hello, can I help you? And then we kind of go down here, and then this is the rest of Wanda's apartment, including all of her many, many things.
Hey, when the budget's tight, you got to make sure that the kitchen and the bedroom and the bathroom are in a similar proximity. Exactly. It's all good.
Yeah, the kitchen is directly behind us, and then our wonderful band, our 6-piece band, lives just over here, kind of hidden behind the piano.
Okay, 6-piece band, though. Oh, yeah. That's cool. And how do you hide that many people and instruments?
Most of them are hidden behind the piano, but we also have a lovely camera for our conductor Paul DeGurst to see the stage, which works out for a really fun bit where they play the piano in unison with Paul, the actual person playing the piano.
How creative. I mean, when it comes to local theater, right? So many moving parts, people wearing different hats. When it comes to set design, how creative do you really have to get?
Pretty creative. We get to get kind of more metaphorical than you do in other mediums where this is scaffolding, but now we're saying it's an apartment and a balcony and a bridge, but it's all scaffolding.
But you know what? I think that makes for an even more intimate production. This venue is phenomenal here at CCFM for it. You guys should come and check it out. Head to a link on our website.
Will do. Okay, thanks, Ainsley. And the weather today, it's a good day to be inside.
Certainly is, yes. Or if you enjoy the rain, just make sure you're dressed for it. Grab the umbrella, grab your rain boots, because yes, it's going to be a soggy one. 11 degrees out there. Winds are very strong out of the south at 29, gusting at times to 42 kilometers per hour, and they won't be easing for at least a day to come. The barometric pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 90%. So yes, you can enjoy the rain throughout the day, southern Manitoba, while the north stays largely dry, as evidenced on our radar here. Looking nice and clear there, while we see even some scattered instability there. The rainfall could bring anywhere from 30 to 50 millimeters of accumulation from today into Tuesday morning in a very specific region. That's because the system will stall out over the western Red River Valley and southern Interlake, while we here in Winnipeg are likely to get more like 20 to 30 degrees. Here's that region I mentioned. So rainfalls will be, accumulations will be strongest there, while the rest of us will deal with slightly less, but rainfall for sure. 12 degrees degrees is our high. However, also notable today, our highest temperatures will be felt in the morning, and that will drop throughout the day. Winds will be strong, as mentioned, out of the south, and those periods of rain continue overnight as well, as do the rain. 6 degrees as the evening continues, with our rainy, soggy evening at that. Into tomorrow, morning rainfall likely, clouds into the afternoon, a high of 9 degrees. Winds will be once again strong out of the northwest at 20 to gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. We have a few pockets of sunshine to enjoy in this week, but it's mostly pretty soggy. 9 degrees on Wednesday as our temperatures come back down to a typical seasonal high. 7 on Thursday, and on Halloween, hopefully your Halloween costume pairs well with some rain gear, because it's likely to be a soggy one.
One of the most decorated Indigenous war veterans in Canadian history was celebrated in Manitoba on Saturday afternoon. A ceremony was held in Petersfield to honor the legacy of Sergeant Tommy Prince, an Indigenous war hero who served in the Second World War and the Korean War. Prince was born in the community north of Winnipeg and would later move to Broken Head Ojibwe Nation when he was a child. For his exemplary military service, he was awarded 11 medals. After returning from combat, he served as a strong advocate for Indigenous rights despite discrimination.
It reminds us that courage isn't only found on the battlefield, it's also found in how we carry ourselves in the face of injustice, how we stand for what's right, and how we lift others up.
The ceremony was attended by nearly a dozen of Prince's family members, veterans, community members, and representatives from all 3 levels of government. A group of wildfire evacuees and firefighters visited Ottawa this week to press the government to do more to prevent and fight wildfires. CTV's Andrew Johnson has more on the changes they're demanding.
2.5 years after she barely escaped a wildfire that tore through a Halifax suburb, what Jenny Saulnier calls a living nightmare is permanently burned into her memory.
My house alarm sent me notifications. Window break detected. Directly following, smoke detected and fire detected. This was not even 5 minutes after narrowly escaping from my driveway.
Close to a decade ago, author Teresa Greenwood lived through a similar devastating experience in Fort McMurray, Alberta.
The evacuation alerts start earlier every year. In Fort McMurray, we pack go bags, we check our insurance policies, and we pray for rain.
Greenwood and Saulnier, alongside firefighters, emergency officials, and fire survivors, are in Ottawa to meet with federal officials and advocate for stronger wildfire response and prevention.
Our wildfire system was built for a different era. The system and the people that hold it together are being pushed to their limits.
The group is calling for the federal government to double wildfire training and equipment funding, provide year-round leadership coordinating provinces, territories, and First Nations, and investments in clean energy.
Canadians deserve better. No one should have to experience what my family and thousands of others have endured. We need to act to protect our communities now and to tackle the root causes of these supercharged wildfires.
It's a message delivered at the tail end of the second worst wildfire season on record. 90,000 square kilometers of Canada has burned in 2025. That's more than the size of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island combined. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
BC's striking public service workers have reached a tentative deal with the province after nearly 8 weeks on the picket line. Strikes across BC shuttered provincial liquor and cannabis stores and impacted operations at multiple government ministries as tens of thousands of workers walked off the job. The proposed deal includes a general wage increase of 3% per year for 4 years. The deal still needs to be ratified by union members. U.S. President Donald Trump now says he has no plans for another face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This comes as Moscow keeps up its deadly attacks on Ukraine. In Kyiv over the weekend, Russian drone strikes killed 3 people and injured more than 30. Russia has been intensifying attacks across Ukraine as that country calls for more sanctions to force Moscow to halt its invasion. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane is closed on Pegwa Street between El Tassi Drive and Almay Avenue. One lane is open in either direction on St. Anne's Road from Man to St. Mary's. And starting at 9, the eastbound median lane and westbound curb and left turning storage lane will be closed on Nairn between Foster and Chester. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share with us, text them to us, please, at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.32. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is the same, $1.29, and the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.21. All this information is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Haunted, spooky, or just plain fun. Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, especially those decorated yards and homes, and that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca. Fill out the form and submit some pictures, please. Good luck. Outside right now, 11 degrees, it's raining, and the wind is gusting to 42 at times. We'll be back after this break.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It is a soggy start to your Monday to the week. Grab the umbrella because we've got a soggy full Monday ahead. 11 degrees, strong southerly winds, pressure falling, humidity at 90%. So the surface low that is causing this is quite evident over my shoulder here. This is pushed in from the Dakotas over the international border, spreading out over southern Manitoba this morning. And it'll continue to track to the northeast, stalling out in particular over a certain slim margin of the province. So that's Portage-la Prairie, Gimli, Headingley, that region. Accumulations could be 30 to 50 millimeters worth. Meanwhile, the north, blithely unaware, nicely dry. Temperatures there downright balmy for this time of year in the low teens. A little bit of sunshine in Thompson, the rest fairly cloudy. The sunshine, though, will be abundant in the northwest. Temperatures there also above season at 12 in the Paw and Norway House, 11 in Flin Flon and Lynn Lake. Southwestern Manitoba, a rainy day for you, 10 degrees in Brandon, 11 in Neepawa, 12 in Dauphin, where you're likely not going to get the rain, and Swan River as well. A mix of sun and cloud for you. Aren't you lucky? For us here, we'll deal with the rainfall as mentioned and some very strong southerly winds at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. Temperatures will be about this in the early morning hours and then fall into the afternoon. Northwestern Ontario, likely to stay dry except for Red Lake. Cloudy skies in Kenora, mix of sun and cloud in Dryden and Fort Francis. Highs in the low to mid-teens. Rain likely continuing overnight, as do those very strong southerly winds. Temperatures dipping down to 6. The rain won't taper off likely until tomorrow morning, and then clouds after that, a high of 9 degrees. Wednesday, a little bit of sunshine before the rain returns.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's go back now to Ainsley, who's live at CCFM this morning, telling us about Afterlife. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. There's a lot of components to this, whether it's set design or the beautifully written script by Sharon here. Tell us a little bit about why this old-timey weaponry is also involved.
So Wanda, the character in the play, is a historian, and she invites the vampire in, and she sort of shows him some of her things, and one of her piles is a bunch of 16th century weaponry, and he's very excited by this particular item, which is a buzz dog and mace, which I made. And of course, she's like, almost 90. So some of her weaponry are canes, but in one section, they have a sword fight. So we do have these stage swords. And Carson Natras, our fight director, got us to learn how to sword play. So you've got a vampire and an 85-year-old woman having a big sword fight. There's also some, there's all kinds of things in here. Dangerous. We've got this guy here. I can't remember if we named him or not, but he did make a cameo in Frozen this year at Rainbow Stage. And we just love him. Just makes a good sound.
Yeah, there we go. Aha, for real. How do you tie all of this in? Because it sounds like you're dealing with so many different motifs.
Yeah, I guess we are, except we wanted a way for the two characters to bond. And one of the ways that they bond is through their love of history. And we made her a historian because she studies all of the times that Razvan the vampire has lived through, because he's lived 500 years. So they have this song called Mysteries of History, and they talk about different things in history that she gets really excited by. And then another concept is that she has dementia at the top of the play, and the longer she's with the vampire, her mind starts to return and she starts to remember things. She can even read her books, which she hasn't been able to do for 10 years. And the sword fight, she has no idea that she remembers how to fight, and then he just starts fighting with her, and she's like, wow.
Then it comes out.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much. Okay, Afterlife presented by Rainbow Stage. You're going to want to see this one.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 4th birthday to Colby. Love Mom, Dad, Madden, and all your family. Happy 10th birthday, Jesse. Hope you have a sweet day. Love from all of your family. And happy 22nd birthday, Maya. We love you so much from your mom and all your family. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
The Toronto Blue Jays lost 5-1 against the Dodgers in Game 2 of the Best of 7 championship on Saturday. The teams meet again tonight in Los Angeles for Game 3 at Dodger Stadium. Joining us now from LA is CTV reporter and our former host here, Raheem Ladhani. Good morning, Raheem.
Hey, Rochelle, how you doing? How's the family?
Oh, it's good. You? How's your little family?
Yeah, she's good. We don't need to talk baseball, by the way. Let's just talk about our lives. Kaya's good. She's 7 months now, starting solids, all good. And we got her watching the Jays games too, so we'll see if she watches tonight and stays up late.
Congrats on the baby, Raheem. Now, it was a heartbreaking game on Saturday. The series has moved to California. Tell us about the vibe there in that city and how people in Canada are feeling.
Yeah, of course. So we got in on Saturday, and I wasn't sure what to expect because LA's so big. There's always so much happening. There was a Hugh Jackman movie premiere the other night. So you don't really know how invested Dodgers fans will be. Well, I can tell you, if there are any reservations, you can put them to rest because every other person is decked out in Dodgers blue. This is a knowledgeable fan base. They're loud. Even just to watch Game 2, we had to go to 3 bars to get a spot because the first 2 were packed. That's how much people love their Dodgers here. And so it's going to be an electric atmosphere, and it's going to be loud. I was at Dodger Stadium yesterday just checking it out and getting our bearings. Sorry about that. We're on Hollywood Boulevard right now, and things get a little dicey sometimes. But yeah, so we were at Dodger Stadium, and as beautiful as it is, it can be an electric atmosphere, and I think that's going to be a determining factor tonight because Max Scherzer's on the mound for the Blue Jays, and they really need him to settle things down for the Jays. That's why he's pitching tonight. He used to play for the Dodgers, and you don't. Yeah, go ahead. And so you don't want the Dodgers crowd to get into the game. You really want to stymie them, and hopefully that gets the Jays bats going, Rochelle.
Yeah, and what do you think it'll take for the Jays to win with that crowd?
I mean, I think they need to get things going very early. They do get a big boost. Bo Bichette will be back in the lineup tonight, and he'll be on second base, and he'll also likely be slotting behind Vladdy when it comes to the batting lineup. And what's important about that is without Bo in the lineup, teams can kind of pitch around Vladdy. With Bo there, you kind of say, okay, you have to choose, right? Pick your poison. And we saw in Game 1 that Bichette stepped up with some timely base hits. And so the Jays offense was stymied in Game 2. They're looking to rebound. And just one quick stat before we let you go. The team that wins Game 2 on the road, and so if the Jays win tonight, have a 75% chance of winning the World Series. So while this is an elimination game, it certainly could be a swing game for sure.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Raheem, and it was good to see you. CTV's Raheem Ladhani reporting live this morning. This is what's happening on Portage Avenue. Things look like they're moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. We'll be back after this short break.
Weather is brought to you by MJ the Musical at Centennial Concert Hall, November 5th to 9th.
Well, we do get the rainfall today. We're getting a very warm day, 12 degrees, although it is a little cooler than what we saw last year and well off that record set back in 1938. There's been a temporary ease in this rain currently out here in downtown Winnipeg. This umbrella not needed much. There's a stray raindrop or two, excuse me, but it's likely to pick up again in due time. 11 degrees, very strong southerly winds. That'll be the case through the day and evening. 29 kilometers to 42 kilometers per hour. Barometric pressure falling, humidity at 90%. So the surface low that is kind of brewed up this rainfall pattern that we've been seeing over southern Manitoba. Watch for that spreading to the northeast. My apologies, folks, with the frog in my throat. The hardest hit area will likely be the West Red River Valley and the southern Interlake. 30 to 50 millimeters could be coming your way, while here in Winnipeg closer to 20 millimeters, this by Tuesday morning. So yes, while we'll deal with the rainfall, we'll deal with these strong southerly winds. Temperatures warm, although they peak in the early morning hours. 12 degrees is likely our high falling into the afternoon. To the north, cloudy skies in the northeast, more sunny to the northwest. Temperatures there also above seasonal in the low teens.
A Canadian musician is traveling across Canada to bring his songs to homeless shelters, soup kitchens, and tent encampments. Les Gillis traveled into town after town across the country to bring his Help Shine a Light on Homelessness Across Canada tour. He's now here in Manitoba. Joining us is musician Les Gillis. Good morning, Les.
Good morning. How are you?
You actually live in Winnipeg.
I do.
And this tour that you took, you went from Winnipeg to Cape Breton, right?
I did, yes.
Tell me what your plan was on this journey and why you wanted to do this.
One of the reasons why I wanted to do it is because there's such a shortage of beds in our country. In Winnipeg alone, there's over 2,000 people that don't have a place to sleep tonight, and there's only like, I don't know, 1,600 or 600 beds, 700 beds. And so I started to look at the stats. The stats were all off. And so I decided that because for the last 10 years I've been going to the missions and the soup kitchens, and I've been singing for people, and it seemed to bring a lot of joy to people that were down and out. And it also brought a lot of joy to me too. And with that being said, I decided to put a plan together and see if I can get the stats right, because the stats are all over the place.
Yeah.
So I started off in Kenora, and I went to so many different towns and cities, and I sang at the missions and the soup kitchens and the churches and the shelters. And I got to see some pretty horrific things, and I met some amazing people. And the real unsung heroes of it all are the volunteers. They're the ones that are really putting themselves out there. Some of the scariest places that I've ever witnessed in our cities were pretty surreal, actually. But the people that I dealt with when I was singing and playing, they couldn't thank me enough for doing that. And it kept me going each time from town to city. And I have memories that will probably last a lifetime too.
That's beautiful. So describe to me the sense that you would get set up in a shelter or in a place where you were going to perform. You get set up there, you sit down, and then once you start playing, the response you got from your audience there.
Well, it was like somebody lighting a candle. All of a sudden the heads are coming up, the foot is moving, people are clapping,
Really?
had people singing along. They couldn't actually thank you enough. It was very exciting because it was transforming, just watching people that had their head down or just eating some soup or something, or just down, and all of a sudden things just became alive for me, So it just drove me to do it more.
And do you think you awakened something in them?
I think what it is I really feel that they felt like they're being seen. I think we all want to be seen, right? We all want to be part of something. And music is a part of everything, I think, and it brings a lot of joy to people. And if you are blessed enough to have a gift to have music in your soul, give it away. Share it with people.
So you did this,
Yes.
and then you feel that you learned a lot, you saw a lot, and now you want to do it again. But this time you want to go the other way.
I got to go to the west.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So that's next spring you want to do
Yep.
this? So why do you want to do that part of the journey?
Because there's a huge need for the information to be right, and the information that I did a lot of interviews with staff and management only. I did video interviews. I want to put a documentary together when it's all said and done. I didn't exploit anybody. I didn't interview or take photos or any of people that were down. that are in need. I realize that there's probably about at least 65 to 70% of the people that are out there are dealing with a mental illness.
Okay.
There's drug addictions, of course. There's alcohol. There's poverty. There's lots of soup kitchens. There's thousands and thousands of people that are in need, and I really think there should be an intervention through our government. Should have an actual task force to deal with this issue only. It's the people of our country that really need help, and stop putting band-aids on things.
So now you need some cash to make this happen. We're almost out of time already.
Yeah, sure.
What do you hope people can do to support you?
Well, if you'd like to support me, that would be great, which a lot of people have done before to get me there and back. I'm not looking for money for shelters. I'm just looking for transportation, place to sleep, something to eat, that type of thing. So you can donate if you'd like to at shelterus, one word, at yahoo.com. So shelterus, one word, at yahoo.com.
And of course, we do have a link on our website with more information as well. Thank you, Les, for sharing this with us.
It's so nice to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Hello there, Jermaine Franklin with you inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, we'll head to Foxborough for this one. Browns, Patriots, third quarter, Dylan Gabriel steps out the pocket and goes deep. But check out Jalen Hawkins. He comes up big, making an incredible one-handed catch for the interception. That's a second pick of the season, and it comes in style for Hawkins and the Pats. And he earns your must-see moment from Sunday. Tonight on TSN, Week 8 of the NFL season wraps up with Monday Night Football as the Commanders visit the Chiefs. It all starts at 5 p.m. Central across the network. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds, helping your home get holiday ready with Blinds by Hunter Douglas.
It's Monday, October 27th. Winnipeg City Council is back at full strength following the weekend by-election in Elmwood-East Kildonan. The Prime Minister says he's still ready to talk trade despite the latest hard line from Washington triggered by Ontario's anti-tariff ad. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It is 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. It is the last week before Halloween, which of course is on Friday. And if you're thinking about decorating the house to make it spooky, or even have some spooky snacks, or carving those pumpkins. Carving the pumpkins is such a fine art. You have to do it at the right time so that they last enough for Halloween night, but you also don't want to take too much time doing it either.
They can get a little droopy if you wait too long.
So we're going to find out exactly how to do it right, and when to get started. But the weather, it's going to be raining.
That's right, yeah. So if you're heading out with the kids trick-or-treating, make sure the costume can go over a rain slicker, or maybe you can incorporate it some way, I don't know. But yes, it's a rainy day, and rain is going to be kind of dogging us through much of the week to come. It's 11 degrees out there, very strong winds out of the south at 29, gusting to 42 kilometers per hour. Pressure is falling, humidity sits at 90%. So this low pressure system that kind of brewed over the Dakotas has moved into southern Manitoba this morning and is starting to fan out. It's looking like the strongest accumulations are coming to an area in the southeast, So that's Portage, Gimli, Headingley, all around that region. The system will stall out over you, bringing about 30 to 50 millimeters worth, while the rest of us will be on the lower end of that. There's the culprit right there. As the day progresses, you see it start to move northeast and then kind of stick around there for longer than it will in the southwest, which begins to taper off Tuesday morning. We'll likely deal with the rainfall in the morning tomorrow, and then it'll taper off as well, leaving behind cloudier skies. Meanwhile, northern Manitoba decently clear today and for the next couple of days to come, but you too have some clouds and some rain in the cards for you at the back half of the week, much like us. Our high today will be 12 degrees. Likely the warmest values will be felt in the morning as the temperature begins to dip into the afternoon. Those southerly winds will be strong at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour, and will persist overnight. Temperatures dip down to 6 as the rain continues into Tuesday morning. Your weather art of the day drawn by 9-year-old Presley. A beautiful winter scene, very impressive. You do not want to see what my take on this would be. I have embarrassing skills. Thank you to 9-year-old Presley. And if you have any weather-themed artwork from your kids that you'd like to share, email them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
We now know who will serve as the new city councillor for Elmwood-East Kildonan. Emma Duran Wood was elected during Saturday's by-election, securing just over 31% of the vote in a race that saw 7 candidates on the ballot. The by-election was prompted after the death of councillor Jason Schreier in April, who was first elected in the ward in 2014. Duran Wood described her win to CTV as surreal and said she's grateful for her election team.
I really wanted to just be a strong voice for the community. I think throughout this campaign I've seen that people really want positivity, they want forward-looking solutions, they don't want to get sort of mired in the negative, and they want a councillor that works with them in community.
The longtime community advocate and freelance editor said the job won't be easy and that there's big shoes to fill. Just over 15% of eligible voters cast their ballot in the by-election. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Asia this morning, saying he's still open to trade talks with the U.S.
We stand ready to sit down with the United States, myself with the President, my colleagues with their colleagues, when the U.S. is ready to sit down.
This comes after U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters he won't be meeting with Carney for, quote, a long time. Trump cut off trade talks last week over an anti-tariff TV ad the Ontario government was running in American markets. President Trump then threatened an additional 10% tariff top-up because the ad wasn't pulled from the air fast enough. Hurricane Melissa rapidly strengthened to a Category 4 storm barreling through the Caribbean.
It now seems virtually certain that the core of a powerful hurricane is going to move over Jamaica on a Tuesday.
Satellite images show the eye of Melissa near Cuba with winds reaching 220 kilometers per hour. Jamaica is bracing for impact with fears the storm could strengthen by the time it hits, causing flash flooding, storm surges, and landslides. 2 suspects have now been arrested in connection with the brazen daylight jewelry heist at the Louvre. 2 men in their 30s are in custody. One suspect was arrested in a Paris suburb. The other was nabbed as he was about to board a flight to Algeria. Gloves, a jacket, and DNA samples were reportedly found at the scene of the crime, leading to the arrests. Thieves broke into the Louvre last week using a crane and stole 8 pieces of French royal jewels worth an estimated $102 million. You could say these creatures are rolling out the red carpet. Tens of millions of crabs have begun their annual migration on Christmas Island, turning the roads red. The island is off of Australia, and this event happens every summer. Around 50 million red crabs move from their homes down to the beaches to lay their eggs. Special crab bridges have even been built to help the crabs get around tricky obstacles. Taking a look now what's going on Donald Street. It looks like things are picking up in this part of the city. Expect some delays because the streets are covered with puddles and might slow things down this morning. If you see any traffic issues, please let us know about them. Text them at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at CCFM this morning. We're learning all about the show Afterlife, and tell us more.
Rochelle, I'm going to do a really hacky bit right now where I go, oh, where's my next guest? Where could my next guest possibly? Oh, hi, Daphne. I was going to say to her, get emerge from your hole, but here she is joining me now to talk about this production. And you're inside a piano, a grand piano. How does it play a part in the production?
Yeah, so at one point during the show, Razvan, our lead vampire, in an attempt to hide from the effects of the sun, ends up falling into this piano. And there's a wonderful number at the end of Act 1 called Vampire in My Piano, where from inside of this, Duncan, our Razvan, is playing the piano in time with our music director, Paul. So it looks like from the outside, the piano is playing itself.
Yeah. Well, not everybody, I mean, not just one person, sorry, is hiding. Yeah. You got a whole, how many piece band? 5-piece band?
6-piece band back there.
And what does that entail?
So we had a cello, a violin, bass guitar, electric guitar, and drums, and keys, all of which are living back here behind this piano.
Mm-hmm. Is that a tight squeeze?
It's a little bit of a squeeze, especially we have a whole set of drums back there that are encased in a shield because they are loud.
Wow, they must really learn a lot about each other by the end of the production. How much does the music play into this production?
It's a huge part of the show. This is very much a rock-inspired musical, so the lights are very rock concert-esque, and it also draws a little bit on kind of golden age musical theater with some, you know, soft shoe numbers, but it is very much a rock musical.
There's so much to get into when we talk about this show. Why do you think people are coming back now for its second time?
I think the big thing is that it is so much heart and it's so funny. One of the big things that we've been hearing from people is, I went into this, I'm laughing my face off, but then by the end of the show, they are feeling really in touch with what it means to be a human. And I think that is the beautiful part of this show.
What it means to be a human. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we will see you at 8:38, you guys.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. An agricultural product invented in Manitoba has made Time magazine's list of best inventions of 2025. CTV's Alex Carpa has more on how the new design is helping farmers during harvest season.
Each of our concave models are designed differently.
Jeremy Matuszewski was looking for a way to make combining more efficient for farmers.
This is designed around a John Deere combine.
Every combine has a device called a concave, which plays a vital role during harvest. Its job is to separate the good crop from the bad.
Previously, everybody would have to change concaves. So if you were to do corn, you would use a specific concave. If you were to do wheat, well, you can't do wheat with the same concave you do corn.
Matuszewski said this design was inefficient and thought there had to be a better way.
What if we change how the concave's designed to try to control how the material flows through?
And that's what he did. The new concave, which reduces grain loss and saves on fuel, is now being used in combines around the world, including right here in Manitoba.
It's a fun time of day to be out here.
Jamie Jansen is on the final stretch of harvest season, combining his last field of corn. He started using the new concaves from Matuszewski last year and was immediately hooked.
The convenience is why we use it. The ability to switch between crops without having to pull cover plates or touch our concaves at all. Just going from field to field has been very nice.
He says it's a huge time saver, making harvest more efficient.
The convenience of being able to just move from crop to crop will become the norm.
The concave product is being recognized on the world stage, earning a place on Time magazine's Best Inventions of 2025.
This is a pretty cool thing that we did.
Going forward, Matuszewski hopes his product will make a difference for farmers around the world, one concave at a time. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winkler, Manitoba.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
It's a bit of a soggy start to our week, to our day. It's 11 degrees out there as that rainfall continues. Winds are sort of easing out of the south at 34 kilometers per hour. The barometric pressure is falling, humidity sitting at 90%. While they are letting up a little bit, those winds are going to be strong throughout the day, and that rainfall is going to be a constant as well. There's a special weather statement in effect for this sliver here, Winnipeg not included. That's because that system that's spreading rainfall throughout southern Manitoba will be stalling out over this region. So accumulations could be strongest, heaviest there, 30 to 50 millimeters worth, while other surrounding areas, including Winnipeg, could be slightly less. Meantime, our temperatures will be warmest in the morning and falling throughout the day. These are some of the warmest values we'll see. Currently, we're at 12 in Portage-La Prairie, 11 in Morden-Winkler, 11 in Gimli. To the west of us, a little bit cooler, Melita at 8, Brandon at 7, Dauphin at 9. Northern Manitoba, decent temperatures to kick off the day, and you too will be on par with us in terms of our highs in the low teens. Certainly you want to equip the kids for the rainy weather today as they get on the bus. 11 degrees as the raindrops fly under those very strong southerly winds, and it'll keep raining all throughout the day and on the way home as those temperatures begin to drop. As mentioned, our high today is 12 degrees. 6 is what's seasonal, and that coincidentally is our overnight low as the rainfall continues, as does the very strong southerly winds. Into tomorrow, we'll likely get rain in the morning while the southwest will be dry. 9 degrees here in Winnipeg, cloudy into the afternoon, temperatures dipping below freezing overnight before we get some sunshine on Wednesday. We're going to take a break, but we're getting some tips on how to celebrate Halloween in tasty style. Those details just ahead. The
Good morning, it's 8:15. We're going to start off with a traffic note. The St. James Bridge is down to 1 lane. Fire trucks have blocked the curb and middle lanes, so you should expect delays in this area. Haunted, spooky, or just plain fun. Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, especially those decorated yards and homes. And that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and submit some pictures. Good luck.
Cenovus Energy is further sweetening the deal to take over MEG Energy. MEG says Cenovus has modified its latest takeover offer to $30 a share. A special meeting of MEG shareholders remains scheduled for October 30th. And stock futures jumped this morning after U.S. and Chinese officials cooled tensions over the weekend. There's now optimism a trade deal can be reached between the two. Japan's Nikkei reached a new record high today, surpassing 50,000. Meanwhile, interest rate cuts are likely this week in both the U.S. and Canada, while the rest of the G7 looks on. The Bank of Japan, which is inching toward a rate hike, is expected to hold off, and officials with the European Central Bank have signaled there will be no further easing at the moment. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Halloween is Friday, and it's time to start thinking about carving those pumpkins and making some spooky snacks. Joining us now with some guidance on how to do that with the little ones is Winnipeg's Family Fun, Carmen Kaler. Good morning, Carmen.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Yes.
You have the skeleton earrings on. You're all ready.
Festive.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thanks.
You brought different pumpkins. There are different ways to carve a pumpkin. You don't want to do it too far in advance.
No.
Because they get soggy and they don't look the same, right? So when should you carve your pumpkins?
I am not the expert.
Just a few days
I know.
before.
I always go a few days before because it never works for me if we go sooner, and then I have crying at home when, like the day, and it's all rotted and stuff,
right? Because they do get soggy. Now you did carve this one.
Yes, so I have a few that I have done. So I thought this time we could go over some of the more viral tips for carving pumpkins that people have been talking about.
Yes.
So speaking of this one, this one is for, they said, and I guess what I'll also be talking about is what didn't work for me, that everybody made look really easy. So this one we were using for younger kids.
Like cookie cutters.
Cookie cutters. So what I would say, you'd want metal ones. All of the examples used mallets, and I cannot for the life of me find my mallet, so I used a hammer. It still works.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
I would just recommend watching if you're having a younger kid. You did have to put a lot of force into it, and then I found it got stuck, even though these are the metal ones. So what I did is I just then used it as the guide to carve, so that was helpful.
Okay. And then you use Vaseline to try to.
Yeah, and so then the example is I have this pumpkin over here where we have for some of our dips, and in the eyes I tried the Vaseline trick last night, and this one I didn't put the Vaseline, just take a little bit.
Yep.
And put in here, and this one already is starting to curl in just a little bit.
So this one you didn't do
Did not put the Vaseline in, whereas the eyes I put them in this one, and it did make a difference.
So that's a good tip if you wanted to make your pumpkin last a little longer.
Just
use
coat
some
all
petroleum
the
jelly.
stuff. Yeah, exactly, and that was nice and cheap. You have at home.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then the next one was, if you haven't already, because this is the first I've been meaning to for years now, because I keep hearing people say carve from the bottom, so you don't have, because when we were talking about when to carve, I think the first thing is that lid starts falling in, right?
It gets heavy, yes.
So people have been saying carve from the bottom.
Okay.
I saw somebody use a bowl, which I was like, that's brilliant, because then you don't have to worry about
it rolling around on you.
Yes.
That's pretty stable. Okay.
And so then we just carve it out. I've already started. And you will do your scooping. Now, one of the other ones I saw in countless places was this. Is you? I'm not going to have it plugged in. And this is supposed to help take out all of the guts. Now, if you already own these,
that's a pretty good tool. I need one of those.
This I just bought from the dollar store years ago. Worked as good, if not better.
So you tried this one?
Yeah.
It was just a big mess?
No, it worked. I just didn't find that it scooped it out any faster or
any
smoother than this would have.
Okay.
Because you still have to scoop it.
You want thinner walls, so you're not carving through thick walls.
Yeah.
So this didn't quite get you there.
It didn't do as much as I thought it was going to. I think that if you don't own these, if you don't own those the pumpkin scooper ones, this is a great option. I just don't think it was as amazing as it looked online when everybody did it.
Good to know. It's good that you're doing the testing for us, so we know
I've been
what to do
wanting
here.
for years to do this. I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. And then the other thing that they had said, and this one worked for me too, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before, is using dry erase when they are drawing, like if you were doing, so say that we had our pumpkin and we were going to put
just a regular jack-o'-lantern face, yeah?
Whatever they were going to design, and you had the kids, and then you always have like that leftover Sharpie.
Yes.
But now, if you just use dry erase, after they cut it, whatever's left over, you can just easily wipe it off.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I was like, that was brilliant.
It's a good tool. Yeah, it's a good tool to learn. Okay, so now let's talk about food, because Halloween falls on a Friday this year. And so if you're hosting the little ones, my daughter's having a sleepover with her trick-or-treat friends. So this would be something fun for them to enjoy when they get back from trick-or-treating. Tell us what you've done here.
Okay, so I am all about having something that's like themed, but then you can just put the rest of your food out that's like normal. Yeah. So this one we have a dessert one where I just took icing and shaped it like a ghost.
I like that.
And then they have like their cookies and stuff that they can dip into
dip
it.
in there.
Yeah.
And this, you don't even have to bake if you don't want to. You just lay it out. I love
all
that.
For that. Especially my kids want to have their pumpkin carving on Thursday after work. I don't have time to do that.
Now this pumpkin looks like it's not feeling very well.
Right,
Too much
isn't that
candy.
fun?
Yeah, it's a great idea. And again,
that
the
was
kids
just
will
like
get a kick out of it.
Yeah, and it was just packaged guacamole, so that's super fast if they've already got it.
Easy.
And so they're throwing up.
Okay, Carmen, these are great tips. Thank you for testing the pumpkin carving theories for us this morning. We really appreciate it. Again, if you want more information, we have a link on our website. Thanks, Carmen. Here.
Certainly
feeling spooky out here with this overcast weather, this rainy weather. It's 11 degrees, though the rainfall has tapered off a little bit. There's still a little bit of a drizzle. Winds are strong out of the south at 34, gusting a little bit stronger at times. Barometric pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 90%. Yes, so rainfall expected to continue throughout southern Manitoba today, tapering off tomorrow for us here in south central portions. Likely tomorrow will be dry for the southwest, while we'll have it in the morning and not in the afternoon. Temperatures will be peaking in the low teens, well above seasonal, but the warmest values will be felt before noon, before those start to fall into the afternoon. Winds will be strong out of the south throughout the day at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. To the north, the northeast has overcast skies ahead, while the northwest, lots of sunshine. Temperatures routinely in the low teens, above seasonal to be sure, with much lighter winds than what we're seeing here in southern Manitoba. As mentioned, we'll hang on to the rainfall overnight. Temperatures dip to about 6 in Winnipeg. We continue with a bit of rainfall in the morning here in Winnipeg with a high of 9 degrees. And then from there, temperatures dip overnight below freezing. We start to see those daily highs come down with a little bit of sunshine on Wednesday. Your Skywatch picture of the day, this one taken by Ron in Gimli. Lovely shot. Keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. Let's take a break, but stay with us. So much more still to come on Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Mental health affects all of us, and here in Winnipeg, the Canadian Mental Health Association is reminding us that support is always within reach. In this month's Commitment to Community, our Ainsley McPhail learns about one of their longtime partners, United Way, and why one woman is giving back today.
Dealing with any mental health challenges can feel isolating, but 60 years of a partnership with United Way Winnipeg and Canadian Mental Health Association has really helped so many Manitobans. Here to fill us in is Stephen Sutherland. Tell us about those 6 decades of partnership.
Well, that's longer than I've been around. So I have been told that we have something for everyone here at CMHA, in large part because of the funding that we get from the United Way. And so whether it's our housing, our rehab, recovery services, our wellness supports out in the community, our youth services, the United Way and the city of Winnipeg, the citizens of Winnipeg really have fueled our purpose and our goal for people to flourish.
Mm-hmm. And positive mental health is really the backbone to our communities. Just tell us about the broader impact.
Yeah, you know, when people are seen, when people are heard, when people know that they matter, when they're treated with dignity and respect and compassion, those are the values and really the foundation, the compass that we approach people, but also how the United Way approaches us in supporting the communities that we serve.
CMHA has a mission to advance mental health, well-being, and recovery across Manitoba. An estimated 28% of adults have a diagnosed mental illness in the province, and youth rates are also a major concern. But it's not always folks with a diagnosis facing hurdles in this area. If we were going to wrap up this story like a bow, our next guest does it perfectly. And we'll tell you why in just a second. Nikki Alvarez joins us now to tell us all about her journey with the Canadian Mental Health Association. So for you, you started as a participant, and now maybe I'll let you tell our audience.
So yeah, I started off as a participant at CMHA in 2019, and I've accessed pretty much all of the services and programs such as service navigation, employment supports, rehab and recovery, and I've also taken courses at the Wellbeing Learning Center, and that has helped me tremendously because I did get my first job after a very long struggle here with CMHA, and then I ended up being an employee here, and I also work with United Way.
Talk about an ambassador. You really encompass what it means for this organization to be around. Tell us about why it's such an important service.
It's very important because a lot of people think that mental health equates to mental illness, but that isn't really the case. For me, when I was diagnosed with mental illness, however, I was really trying to understand what mental health meant, and that it really serves for everyone.
United Way Winnipeg donors have supported CMHA since 1965, their entire 60 years. Ainsley McPhail, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Commitment to Community is brought to you by United Way Winnipeg, here for Winnipeg. Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
The raindrops are flying out there in Winnipeg and across much of southern Manitoba. 11 degrees, those southerly winds shaking our camera. The barometric pressure falling, humidity sitting at 90%. It's going to be a gusty day and a rainy one, as evidenced by this very large low pressure system pushing in over the international border. It's starting to fan its way over southern Manitoba. Its trajectory, though, is heading to the northeast, likely not reaching northern Manitoba today, and as such, a dry day for you ahead, and an above seasonal one at that. Temperatures in the northeast peaking in the low teens. 12 is the high for Thompson, 13 in Gillam, Churchill as well under those cloudy skies. Slight chance for some rainfall in Island Lake. Northwestern Manitoba, lots more sunshine likely for you. Temperatures basically on par with some lighter winds than what we're seeing here in the south. 12 in the Paw, Flin Flon and Lynn Lake at 11. Norway House a bit more overcast at 12 degrees. Southwestern Manitoba, rainfall off and on for you today. Cloudy skies, some strong southerly winds. Temperatures at 10 in Brandon, 9 in Neepawa. Dauphin and Swan River likely staying dry. For us here in Winnipeg and the surrounding regions, we could be seeing about 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall off and on until tomorrow. Temperatures there in the low teens. Northwestern Ontario staying dry. Temperatures balmy, 13 in Kenora and Red Lake, 14 in Dryden, 16 in Fort Frances. Rainfall likely to continue overnight in Winnipeg. Temperatures dipping down to 6. We'll get some rain in the morning hours, then tapering off, leaving behind cloudy skies with a high of 9.
The province is expanding an outreach space at the Millennium Library.
The Downtown Resource Corner is just another tool that will help make our downtown safer by connecting people with supports before situations escalate.
Officials say the former Community Connection space will now be known as the Downtown Resource Center and will offer more services than before. That includes mental health workers, a public health nurse, employment and income assistance staff, and members of the Downtown Community Safety Partnership.
The Downtown Resource Corner will also host a rotation of community partners to help Manitobans access IDs, housing, rent assist, and other programs like Healthy Baby and 55 Plus, along with a free phone and photocopier to help complete applications.
The Resource Centre is open roughly 20 hours a week with extended hours once a week. Canadians will soon have to be photographed when entering and exiting the U.S., according to new rules from the Department of Homeland Security. The new condition will apply to travelers no matter how they cross, whether it's by land, air, or through a port. It's part of a move to collect biometric data introduced several years ago. No word yet on when this would be rolled out. The Jays are in LA for tonight's pivotal Game 3 of the World Series. The Jays' bats will look to bounce back after being limited to only 1 run in Game 2 on Saturday. Bo Bichette will be back in the lineup, playing second base today. The Jays have won 3 of 5 on the road during the playoffs. They'll need to win at least 1 in LA to bring the series back to Toronto. Snowbirds or anyone else flying to the U.S. and even across Canada should expect delays in the coming days. CTV's Heather Wright explains why.
As the U.S. government shutdown enters its 4th week, travelers here in Canada are bracing for impact.
It's stressful. Everything's stressful.
Roughly 13,000 air traffic controllers and about 50,000 Transportation Security Administration officers are working without pay during the government shutdown. Staffing shortages are 4 times higher than usual, and delays are expected to get even worse this week, with more controllers choosing to stay home rather than work for free. That not only means delays for Canadians traveling to the States, but also for domestic flights. Because the North American airspace is so integrated, planes often cross the border during flights.
If they have a shortage in the northern perimeters, that would in fact impact on the routing, the timing, and departure time of some of our Canadian operations.
Both the United States and Canada have been dealing with a shortage of air traffic controllers. Winnipeg and Kelowna airports have had to briefly close this year due to staffing, typically when the one controller on duty goes on a break. In a statement, Nav Canada, which manages the country's air navigation system, said the closures were precautionary measures taken under our fatigue risk management system to ensure safe operations and protect the well-being of our employees, while noting the closures are generally limited and brief, and that the Winnipeg closure lasted no longer than 30 minutes. But with the busy holiday season approaching, travel could get even bumpier.
We fear there will be significant flight delays, disruptions, and cancellations in major airports across the country this holiday season.
It was air travel that helped end the 35-day government shutdown back in 2019 when 10 air traffic controllers stayed home, snarling air travel and leading to a public outcry. Delays are expected to get worse this week, though it's not clear if it will be enough to get the U.S. government reopened. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Here's an update now on the traffic situation. It's all clear now on the St. James Bridge. All northbound lanes are now open after being reduced to 1 lane. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us at 10400. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.32. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is the same. And the lowest price in the city is $1.21. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our question of the day, we wanted to know what's your favorite ice cream flavor. Marlene says maple, walnut, and tiger's tail. Thank you, Marlene. Stacy's favorite is black licorice. Kim says my favorite ice cream is maple walnut. Cheryl's favorite ice cream flavor is pumpkin from Sergeant Sunday. Auntie Nina says, I love bubblegum, but also tiger, blue licorice, and black licorice. Shirley's favorite flavor of ice cream is any flavor that the owner of Homespun Ice Cream in Stittsville, Ontario makes. Louise says, my favorite ice cream flavor is French vanilla with caramel sauce poured over it. Lori's is chocolate chip mint. Oh my goodness, it sounds all lovely. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live this morning at CCFM with the latest on a new production there. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. It's called Afterlife, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it once again. Karsten Natras joins us, the director, or the head honcho at Rainbow Stage, I should say. Thank you for being here. While I have you, I just want to congratulate you guys on the success of Frozen. Just how successful was it?
It was the most successful season in our history. So we have never, between Rock of Ages and Frozen, seen over 60,000 people through our doors. And So thank you to Winnipeg and to the hard work of all the artists and artisans that made that possible. It was just mind-blowing to see every seat full in that 2,000-seat venue.
And it's part of a bigger conversation, because look where we are right now. We're at CCFM, so not the Rainbow Stage HQ, but it speaks to the level of talent and the numerous productions too. Tell us about this one.
Well, this is a new work out of our humble city, and we were just talking off air about a new musical theater festival in New York that I went to, and there wasn't a single new musical that I saw that touched the quality of this show. It made me so proud of the talent that's in this city, and sometimes we forget about that. But this is leading up right to Halloween, in our Halloween season, this profoundly funny and romantic musical about an 85-year-old woman and a 500-year-old vampire, and who happens to be in the body of a 25-year-old tall, dark, and handsome man. And it is, it's funny, it's romantic, it's dark, and I saw it yesterday afternoon with an appreciative crowd that just leapt to their feet at the end. I can't say enough about it.
Yeah, I guess it's bringing out a bigger conversation of age gap relationships.
Fun May, December romance.
We're out of time. I'm so sorry. Okay, November 3rd?
It runs to November 2nd.
November 2nd. Okay, head to a link on our website for more details.
Thank you, Ainsley. All right, let's go to the rooftop. It is a wet start to the week.
Certainly is. So we have a rain gauge over in one of these planters, and it looks like about 4.5 millimeters has fallen this morning in Winnipeg. On track with what Environment and Climate Change Canada is predicting could be anywhere from 30 to 50 millimeters. Likely the hardest hit areas will be Western Red River Valley and the Southern Interlake. We're likely going to be around the 20 millimeter mark. So that rainfall starting this morning, temperatures at 11 degrees, strong southerly winds at 34 kilometers per hour, pressure falling, humidity sits at 90%. These strong winds will be ramping up throughout the day, out of the south again at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Highs, which will mostly be hit in the morning hours, will be in the low teens across southern Manitoba, and the rainfall off and on throughout the day. To the north, in the northeast, a cloudy day for you. To the south or northwest, lots of sunshine. Temperatures there in the low teens with lighter rain or lighter winds than what we're seeing in the south. Speaking of the south, we'll see the rainfall continue overnight, tapering off for us here in Winnipeg into the morning hours. Temperatures then at 9 degrees, cloudy skies into the afternoon. Little pocket of sunshine on Wednesday, but spoiler alert, likely rainy for the back end of the week. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. So much more Your Winnipeg still to come.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Taking a look at your gas prices now, the Canadian average is $1.32. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.29, and the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.21. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
The American troops were gone, and as a result, the House of Cards began to collapse.
We were dealing with an ambassador who was just convinced that somehow there wouldn't have to be an evacuation, and therefore there wouldn't have to be a concern about evacuating South Vietnamese.
These people were dead men walking. Sometimes there's an issue not of legal and illegal, but right or wrong.
Rory Kennedy is the youngest daughter of late U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Kennedy is mainly known though for her award-winning documentary Filmmaking. Nominated twice for an Academy Award and winner of a Primetime Emmy-winning documentary, Kennedy has made more than 40 films. She's bringing her expertise to Manitoba and sharing it with young and emerging filmmakers here in this province. It's part of a partnership between her and Film Training Manitoba. Joining us now are award-winning filmmaker Rory Kennedy and Adam Smolik from Film Training Manitoba. Good morning to both of you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. You have been in Manitoba for a few days.
Yes.
You've already met with some students. You've taken a trip to Churchill. Tell us about what you think of Manitoba so far.
Well, I love it. It's great to be back. I was here a couple of years ago with Adam, and we were anxious to get back here. I love the region and mostly the people.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real curiosity here and an interest in filmmaking. So I'm happy to share my experiences that I've had in making documentaries over the last 35 years.
And I'm sure the students are just sucking up all the information you're sharing with them. Tell us how you first got into contact with Film Training Manitoba.
Well, Adam reached out to me, and maybe you can talk a little bit about.
Yeah, we internally at Film Training Manitoba, we've been running a women's conference supporting women in film trades, and there has been discussion about having women directors doing training for us, and actually it's not a large group, surprisingly, and so Rory obviously is well known in the film and television community, and so we reached out to Rory, and just so accommodating and willing to work with us and provide training in our community, so we had to have her.
Yeah, it just makes sense, and being able to inspire young women to be filmmakers is probably one of your biggest takeaways from this whole experience as well.
Yeah, I think that it's an exciting time for young people to enter into the film industry, and older people, frankly, because we're not just focusing on young people, and there's a range of people who are interested in participating. And I think, I've mentioned before that when I entered the film industry, to have a broadcast quality camera was $90,000, and to have an editing system that you could edit on was $350,000. And now you can take an iPhone and you can film on your iPhone, and you can use your computer to edit. So it's much more accessible. And to me, storytelling is so critical to helping us understand our world, creating a sense of connection and compassion for people, providing insights into issues and challenges. And I think it can really kind of advance the way that we connect with each other and think about each other, and hopefully make the world a bit more compassionate and connected ultimately.
For sure. And then so you came to Manitoba the first time around, and then you decided to come back because Film Training Manitoba just created a new program. It's called Manitoba's Northern and Diverse Creators. Tell us what that is.
Well, we have 12 master classes going across the province, and we had identified certain areas within the province using a map saying, well, if we do a session in Churchill, it's conceivable people in the surrounding communities could travel to Churchill. If we do training in Flin Flon and the Paw, it's conceivable people from Dauphin or Lynn Lake could travel to those areas. So we strategically planned to do programming throughout the province, and then specifically target some underrepresented groups that we thought don't always get programming for them. So obviously the northern communities with a lot of Indigenous Manitobans living there were an ideal group of people to partner with. And then we're doing tonight a program with Real Pride, which is anyone can attend, allies, people that want to be a part of the session. And so yeah, we're having a program that we really want to make sure that people can be involved and take part in. And I think Rory's points were great, is that we want young people, but we want anyone that wants to be a part of the film and television industry to feel that this is an industry that they could be a part of, that they could make their own films, distribute them, share with them. And one of the really wonderful things about the province is we have lots of festivals now where people can put their films and showcase them. So we're running this program as a large-scale event so that people in Manitoba can be a part of it.
And there's so many stories to tell here in Manitoba, Rory. So how do you share that with those young filmmakers or any aged filmmakers on how to get that message out?
Yeah, well, a lot of them are coming to me with ideas that they have, and they're really wonderful ideas. And sometimes, I think a big challenge is financing for these initiatives. And thankfully, Canada is very supportive of the film community. And then, there's other ways to be involved, right? Because I'm a producer and director, but we also need teams to make these films. So you need line producers and editors and associate producers and, you know, camera people and sound people, and increasingly places like Netflix and the streamers are looking to develop projects regionally and locally, right? So they're both coming here to film projects that they've initiated, but they're also looking for ideas from the community and to have that really be coming, you know, from the ground up. So I do think there are a lot of international opportunities for filmmakers here, and
that's exciting. Well, having a powerhouse like you in our province to share that message, I'm sure inspires many. Thank you so much to both of you for being here with us this morning. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
it's
you.
great to be with you.
Yeah, ditto. Thank you.
Lights, camera, action. Not a lot of a picture to show you on our live eye because those raindrops are obscuring the view, as will be the case through much of the day. Temperatures at 11 degrees. Winds are strong out of the south. Barometric pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 90%. So yes, we have this system here spreading rainfall all throughout southern Manitoba. Accumulations have been a bit all over the place. About 20 millimeters is possible in in Winnipeg, excuse me. Stronger accumulations possible in the West Red River Valley and Southern Interlake to the tune of 30 to 50 millimeters. While we'll deal with a rainy day, we'll also deal with a blustery one out of the south at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour under a high of 12 degrees. Rain continues overnight, tapering off into tomorrow with a high of 9. We're going to take a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Stay with us. Your videos of the day still to come.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Some people like to take simple tasks and make them a little harder to do just for fun. Third time's the charm. Putting on shorts the normal way was just too easy for these guys, so they added a swing into the process. After a couple of failed attempts, he was able to fall right into the super-sized shorts.
I feel like you get a really bad wedgie on dismount there when you stick it. So I don't know about that.
Now to a welcome all siblings want to come home to.
Brother and sister are going to be here soon.
1-year-old Nora is so excited to see her brother and sisters when they come home from school. Aww. You can tell from her scream when they walk in. She absolutely can't contain herself, and they love it. And she has different outfits, as you can see, so they're showing it more.
Stop it, those roly-poly arms, the best.
Well, the annual Corgi Parade took over a street in Ottawa Sunday afternoon. Dozens of dogs and their people strutted their stuff in their best Halloween attire.
Looking good.
They do look good. That does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.